Let's try to figure this out here, wife.
Gotta use the chippy typey to type the words. No results found. I can't just decide that we're done.
Not according to that.
Kick got bought by Google and now we're shadow banned there too. Pussies. Disconnect? Oh, I guess. Stream starting soon. Kick has never not given us problems. I feel like we've had less problems with fucking Twitter and Twitch.
Yeah. And we struggled for Twitch for a long time.
Of course, it's not just gonna show up for. There's always got to be something fucking weird going on.
Um, Kitty cat. I'm gonna go do a thing.
He's already relaxing. Come relaxed on me. I never move. Boop. I'm too fat and pregnant.
So, I guess we started.
Okay.
So that doesn't. That's irritating.
Started retarded. Nothing's coming up now on Kick. Look at that shit. We've officially started because you put the stream starting soon down.
Yeah.
Okay. So, should I start reading maybe one of those articles you found?
Yeah. I work on this.
And break everything forever?
No, just dropping books on the floor.
It broke.
Uh,
Shattered into pieces. Oh god, is that on 4chan?
yes. Here's the first one.
This is a conversation or something someone's having?
This is just a thread topic. I haven't gone into it, but I figured it's a good starting point.
Holy shit. What is autism? Is it mark of God that signifies your non-NPC? I feel like we, the autists, are actually alive and all the normies are zombies. And we can sense other autists too. They have that spark of life in the eye. But it takes some time to realize that, because if you're an isolated autist with your non-autistic family, or especially if you're... Holy shit, the world is fucking crazy. I understand that... I understand why he feels the way he does.
Yeah.
Because there are people who act differently than other people. However, the zombies, as this person says, are the ones that diagnose them with autism. So automatically there's a problem there. Don't you think?
Yeah.
That you're letting the people that are different than you tell you who you are. And that's retarded. So maybe he's not ratistic. Maybe he's ratistic. He's a retarded autist.
Completely and utterly ratistic.
So we got a word that a system that means to diagnose something wrong with someone rather than diagnose the problem around that person created. We've got God, which is something that someone made up to diagnose the problem within the self and not the problem on the outside of you got to be obedient to something. You've got to all those questions you have, this God thing can answer. So it's both two things that tell you who you are instead of telling yourself who you are, you wondering yourself who you are. And that's a problem because the way I see it, everything that everyone says right now is fucking wrong. Because when you point out the contradictions for all of these wrong things, they have a lot of similarities. And when you group all those similarities together and measure them by yourself, you see a pattern of abuse. You see a pattern of control. You see a pattern of fucking bullshit. So this kid is getting fucking very confused. And when I was younger, when autism first became a thing, every person that was shown to represent autism was, maybe it's because of because of that verification bullshit.
Weird, because I found it on here.
Yeah, but because I refuse to sign in or do all this stuff, so you know how you had the problem on your computer?
Yeah.
Where you couldn't access anything unless you cleared your cookies or whatever? That's probably the fucking problem we're having right now.
Yeah. Maybe some. I just cleared the cookies and tried to reload it.
And it's still being stupid? Oh, maybe if you don't have Windows fucking oppression 11, you can't go to our website.
Windows oppression.
It's interesting that, because autism is supposed to be something that's bad, right?
Yes.
And yet he's seeing it as something good, which is, fun, whatever. But that's like when the dude goes, oh shit, I just had some weird stream of consciousness thing, and I'm pretty sure that I'm Jesus now. It's the same bullshit. Of course, the actualies. Using slang like normies, and that there's not good communication going on. We can sense other autists too, which, who fucking knows? He could be talking to himself. People call me fucking autistic all the time because I try to explore myself and my relation to other people. Just being honest, not falling for any of you fucking... So there's already a distinction between me as the autist and him as the autist, because he's using those normie ass words. Fucking normie, actually, NPC, using words that are slang instead of how are we relating to each other with these words.
Yes, tell me if I'm wrong, please.
You're wrong. Is that what you want to hear?
Uh, only if I'm wrong, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna scratch my innards.
You ask a question. What was the point of asking that question?
What's the point of asking a question?
Yeah.
Specifically, this guy?
General.
Actually, the way I see it is people ask questions to affirm what they believe already. Is that what you mean? Or are you, because you said, tell me if I'm wrong, so you probably have a follow up.
Well, I'm probably wrong then. Because what I was thinking, ask a question. You're looking for an answer.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing.
If I ask you a question and you start speaking to me in French,
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak French, so I don't know what the fuck you're saying. So, if you want to get the answer, you got to speak the same language. So if he's using a different language,
He's using 4chan language.
so the only
But 4chan language can be a lot of things. We go on 4chan, ain't nobody fucking understand our language. There's a conformity that everybody is fucking looking for. The autists, the fucking this, the fucking that, the 4chanies. They're looking for a language, right? Or they're looking to communicate in the language that they know. I don't know if him or any of his friends are listening, but not bloody waffle, rabid waffle. There's a certain language that he wanted to speak to us in at first. You know? That, understand the things that I'm saying, read all these books to understand what I think. It's a whole bunch of confusion. It's hard to pinpoint besides the self-noticing that nobody fucking communicates. And the self going through those extra steps to understand. I still don't understand what everybody's saying, and even if I do, I don't want to speak their language because it limits me. Then I can't go talking to like an old lady, fucking, meme this and nigga that. What?
Rabid is here.
Where?
On YouTube, wife. See the.
Oh, that's okay. We're just doing our thing. As we normally do.
So, I guess. Want to try to pick up that conversation, or should we finish this silly 4chan thing? Because there's a lot of silly 4chan stuff.
What conversation?
We were talking with Waffles last time.
Yeah. Well, he's not here yet, so why would we? He said it's sorry it's taking me so long. So he's
I guess I assumed that was a stupid assumption that he was ready. He didn't say he was ready. Because he is here does not mean he's
yeah, maybe
has
because
the ability to
he needs the other cell phone or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we were finishing the autism thing.
Yeah.
I guess there's other comments. Can I see that? Or you just want to fucking grab shit out of my hand? Oh, I fucked up. Now I can't see the thing we were looking at. Language has been a problem since at least the Old Testament was written by whoever, or the part in Genesis, right?
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it's obvious, somebody wanted to understand why nobody can understand each other. So did autism fucking exist back then? And the autists blamed God for making people spread out throughout the world. Now they don't speak the same language.
God said, because you have done these bad things, I will.
What these bad things? Because you is bad. Because I say you suck. No, it's not even. It was because he saw them come together to build the fucking tower. And was like, if they could do this, they could do anything. I gotta make sure they don't fucking understand each other.
So I will mark you with poor ability to understand social cues.
Yeah.
I will limit your attention span.
And what are social cues? We can understand, like, the nodding for the yes, or shaking our head for no. But men are always fucking doing stand-up specials about fucking how they don't understand women, right? Oh, they say one thing, but they want you to do another thing, or the this and then that. Bitch, 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 bitch. So nobody's really had any fucking idea how to speak to each other. We didn't even know how to speak to each other when we first met.
No.
All you knew is that you were acting nice to me. Because why are you going to treat me like a boy? That would be fucking... I think we called each other faggots once and we're like, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But we had to fucking do and say the words first.
Yeah, palling around felt.
Yeah. It kind of felt gay, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna put my penis in you after we fucking bro dude around. It's a very complicated thing. And in order, I think, to speak the best about it, we would have to speak to, like, almost every individual who would be listening right now. Like, what's so bad about language? Can you even make up a character that I could try to fucking speak to or something? There's so much chaos. Oh, we were talking about social cues. Every group of people have their own social cues. Social cues is just another way to say how you should respond to something based on what that person says they said.
Social cues is culture.
Yeah, and culture is bullshit. Everything about culture is bullshit. Oh, and I think the smart brothers would fucking agree. That one guy who was talking about how his peoples be monkeying around fucking at Walmarts.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, it's the culture, it's the culture. Okay, yeah, black culture fucking sucks, but guess what? Everybody allowed it to happen. So maybe there's a structure by which others can control people with culture. It doesn't matter if they're black or they're this or they're that. If someone manipulated you to be a certain way, you is a certain way. It was easy for quote unquote black culture because they have no history.
Um. If you, so as a person, you grow up in a culture, your family culture, whatever. People at school, there's a certain culture that an individual lives.
Maybe we should talk specifically to us instead of generalizing it, and maybe then come to a better conclusion about people. Because I know when I went to school, I was always influenced by the people around me. When I was younger, it's all just kind of like a give and take here and there, and not real. I don't really know. What I do know is that I was influenced by what went on at home, and what went on at home is TV. My father did quotes from The Simpsons and apparently fucking Zelda. I don't know how he ever fucking watched that. He always, every time like I would retort something that he said, "Excuse me, princess," and that's a thing that Link said. Never knew my whole fucking life. Didn't watch that until I was like in my 20s, I think.
Yeah. I think like maybe other TV shows and stuff is quoted that, because I've heard that in many other places.
Where?
Like Happy Days. Like I think that's a fawn thing that like the fawn says. I maybe it's a weird Mandela
My
effect thing.
parents watched Happy Days, and I think I would have remembered if I heard it there. That doesn't sound like something the Fawns would do.
Okay. So
but you know, if you can find me something
I will try to find. No, well, why would I try to find it? If I come across it, I will share.
Okay. I don't know, having to do a deep dive search to fucking prove me wrong, or
No, yeah,
it would make me crazy if our pants were changed at this point in time and I was the one that told you that I heard this somewhere and you were like, "No, you didn't." I would be like, "I have to fucking find this now. I can't let myself feel so in limbo." But
I got the authority like you do, and so I would say no, you didn't.
well, you act like you got the authority like I do. Lots of times. When I misremember something, or maybe I don't, and you just say, "Yeah, that didn't happen." And I'm like, "I was there fucking 2 minutes ago." You're like, "No, you weren't." It's like,
yeah, when I'm being stupid, I do.
is that only when you're being stupid? I mean, yes, because you're always so quick to tell me exactly what happened. It's like, give yourself that second watch through, you know? But whatever, I am hurting. So my language is a very peculiar language because I was very isolated my whole life. And when I wasn't isolated, I was always bouncing from group to group here or there. I was always a woman of the world instead of being in one particular thing. It has a lot to do with the time that I lived in, because cartoons were fucking rad. The commercials between the cartoons told you what you wanted for fucking Christmas, as opposed to even my mother, who came from a different country. She couldn't speak anything around other people except her parents and the people that they hung out with, because it's one of those European things that when they come over, they group up together. The Germans, the Jews, the Irish, the Italian, was there Scottish and Dutch? I'm sure there was smaller ones. I know for sure.
Irish, the
Finns. Like Minnesota thing. I think there was a lot of like Dutch, German.
Yeah.
Whatever. And even their shit is so confusing. People don't. I know that people do not have a fine tooth comb by which they have analyzed the entire history of human. A lot of people, that's okay. They didn't have time for that. I spent my whole life doing it. And there's a specific German word for kind of what I do. It's this it's a German word for microsociology, where instead of in sociology, it's the patterns of migration, the density of populations, the things that they come together with. With microsociology, you observe how, apparently, allegedly, you observe how an individual in smaller, instead of like, okay, so you got like a German immigrant bunch of people, and you're watching how they group together, how they spend their days, what kind of money they make, between male and female, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And now you just go to a family that lives in that and see how they go through their day, specifically what they do, how they feel about those things, what makes the circumstances that they live in, what creates it or what causes it. And I've been doing that all my life. I don't know what other people have done, but I think, like this kid with quote unquote autism, he's always looking for a place to belong. And it's obvious when people are looking for a place to belong because they'll speak that language, they'll enjoy those same things, they'll change themselves. There may be some things that they like that attracts them to a bigger group of people that also like these things, but where they differ, the individual will start molding themselves to it. Women do that to dudes all the time. My friend Pizza,
Uh-huh.
it was always hard to know how to speak to her at any given time. When she was by herself, I think she was always the same Pizza. But when she was with those boys, it's speak to me through them, or I'm a different person now than you knew at any other point. I've known her like since the start of like my double digit age. No. Yeah, like 10. 4th grade?
Yeah.
I was 9 and I just turned 10. Maybe, or I was turning, no, just turned. I don't know. Doesn't fucking matter. So there was a pattern that I could follow for 5, 6, 7 to high school years to now, to before when we just got out of high school and we started doing, our own independent things outside of mandated things, forced things. So I could see that contradiction between who she was then, who she was now. There was no molding it. There was always trouble because of it. There are a lot of contradictions of like, hey, explain this change while we're just alone together is impossible. I always caused, there was at least this many boyfriends that she had that I caused an obvious conflict with, because she, like, one time this kid and I were playing the Hitman game. They lived in like a studio little room and I was there sleeping over, and we were awake. He was a druggie. So, and I think a lot of the times when she was mad at her boyfriend, she projected that same madness on me. I can tell now because as old as we are now, she still treats me like the person that she formated when we were younger. So there's always like these bottom lines, these basic measurements that everybody is missing. And I think the only way I know that is because I spent so many times in so many places and so many different things, doing so many different things, defining myself differently, going here to here to here to here to here, based on what gave me the best probability of thrival and survival. So, like, that's a problem with everybody. Where was I going with there was probably something I was trying to explain.
You couldn't explain her split.
I couldn't explain her split. It always drove us apart. There was always so many. How is it that her, usually we didn't fight? Because she was always, she was always very submissive when she was with individual people. She would always mold herself to them, so she probably molded herself to me. We didn't fight unless I started the fight, and she would not really be able to fight back. She was, like, oh, I'm sorry, weird.
Yeah, I guess I could see that between you two.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When she was with boyfriends, I'm doing this, I'm playing this game too. So when she wakes up and she's like, can you fucking turn it down, Adrian, whatever his fucking name is, I've gotta, and it would be like a progressive thing. There would be like first she would get like this attitude thing, like, I'm getting quiet and I'm not fucking, I'm letting you know without telling you that I have a problem with this. That's why as soon as I see a problem, I say, hey motherfuckers, I have a problem. Because it's always a thing that I see in every fucking situation that causes a solution to not be found. It's just, tell me I have I'm showing you I have a problem. I'm seeing that you have a problem. And it's just making us angry. That's not gonna cause, or that's not gonna be conducive to a good relationship with anybody. Now people live in these bad fucking relationships with everybody. Everybody's talking shit about each other. Boys are always fucking around because they're saying something with their body and not saying it with their words. Hi, I am a man and you're a man too, and I know that we're gonna be fucking always contending for the Highlander position. And I'm not gonna tell you when I feel like I can't get that from you. And I'm not gonna tell you that I'm about to fucking project my power on you. And it causes a confusion in everybody's words. Nobody can be reasonable right now because they cannot put words to their actions. It's always these underlying undertone. Oh, the language is 90% fucking body language. Okay, you dumbass monkey, make it better then. Make words 90% of your fucking language. You can't do that? Oh, you don't want to because you're comfortable where you are? Oh, but you're bitching about this and bitching about that? Oh, but fucking, I don't understand this and I don't understand that. And this is just the way it is and I don't know, it doesn't matter. All of that shit is fucking there's no way that I could tell you exactly what this thing is with just a simple line of words. Y'all motherfuckers got problems. And for some reason, I don't. And that's also a hard thing because now I'm talking to someone who's like, I am in a group all by myself. Whereas everybody else in the world is in a group as well. the Mexicans, the Germans, any fucking immigrant, they're all in the same group together. We're all in the same group because we're all fucking humans, but they don't see that. They see that, oh, I like fucking this kind of music. I think you should live life this way. My political blah, 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 fucking retards is this, while yours is that. So I can't see those similarities. I am in a group without anybody else because nobody is similar enough to me. But everybody else is in this group with each other because they do not try to communicate. Everybody will have a limit to how much they're willing to communicate with someone they disagree with. I don't have that boundary, and everybody in the world has that boundary. And I think if I slow myself down and focus on this subject, I could find a lot more things that make everybody else in the world but me like themselves and not me. I think there's more differences than similarities. The similarities I see, I can see myself in the positions that they're currently in normally. It's getting harder and harder because it's like I'm bringing myself to the present. I've done the understanding of my past. So if I see someone who's the same age as me being dumber than me, I have nothing to reference it by. If I meet a teenager, a child, a young adult, I could say, hey, I've got a place to fucking reference. I had at least some stupidity then that you do now. So we can fucking fast track you to fucking awareness if you so choose. I got nothing like that for people my age, people older than me. I gotta be like, you dumb piece of shit, all of this is your fault because you didn't get to where I am now at the age I am now. You're 60 years old trying to fucking kiss the same age dudes as your fucking daughter. You're sharing fucking pants with them. You don't understand what it means to evolve as a person. They're so clueless that they start mimicking the young. I will never fucking mimic the young, which means I can't speak their language. They have to speak mine. So that means I have a responsibility to make the best language that has the best chance at communicating. That means I can't be a fucking meme lord. I can't fucking say this and that to elicit feelings unless I'm very fucking specific about it. Like I was doing on YouTube, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to see where I am versus other people, and everybody does. You have to see how stupid you are so that when you're smarter, you can see how much smarter you are. It's the only way to do it. You can't do what you want. You can't skip that step because you're stupid before you're smart. I was stupid before I became smart. And I'm still stupid. If I wasn't stupid, I could do what I'll be able to do in a week. I could do now what I'll be able to do in a year. I'm sure my communication in a fucking year from now, could you imagine if I could just take that information, if I could go to the future and fast track my learning? I got nothing standing in my way but fucking time. It's not like I have a bias that where I just wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. I would get it. And that sucks. So, give me money. So everybody in the world should give me money so we can figure out how to go to the future. To me. So I can come back with that information. We can move fast. Probably not. We would need first to do the things that I know now. And it's like herding cats. Talking to people
herding, like gathering them?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Amber herding.
So
Oh, you mean like hurting? It's like, yeah, no, that's
which
yeah,
is not the thing.
nope. Talking to people is like trying to corral a bunch of cats. They all speak their same language. Socrates doesn't speak the same language as fucking Craven, that's for sure. I've met plenty of, and it all depends on their environment, where they were at that time, at the time that they were. I don't know. Maybe I could tell. I could measure, but that's a lot. That's a lot of work. They're individuals. They're affected by their experiences. Probably even those fucking chipmunks are different. Even those fucking squirrels on YouTube are different. There's lizards that are different. Like, we're all different based on our circumstances, but we can all communicate. Because we're humans. I mean, maybe bunnies and birds can't fucking communicate well. What are we gonna do about that? We gotta work on ourselves first.
Work on ourselves before we figure out the chipmunks?
Yeah. I don't have the time to look at the personality of a fucking chipmunk. Nobody back then, that when people were hunting squirrels, they weren't looking for their patterns of behavior that said, I'm a little more timid. I like to be pet here more. People didn't do that. They can now. We know that babies feel pain. Imagine how stupid we were when we thought babies couldn't feel pain. Oh, motherfucker, are you saying that you never cried before? You don't know what it feels like when you have the need to cry? You don't know what caused that? And yet, that's the immaturity of man. That I live in the present and I haven't ever lived in the past before. I only carry with me the means by which I will defeat you. At least try. I think they don't have the space. I think even Rabid Waffles, speaking of which, said that he thinks men are less. I think I asked if men are strong at most things, what are women stronger at than men? Emotions. But he still has a negative connotation for emotions. That may change. I mean, it's gotta, or else, it is the necessary piece right now. We have all the other information. There's nowhere further to go except into the past. If we don't understand the emotions of the past, it'll always draw us back. It hurts for I know nature is nature, but nobody wants to get eaten alive. We don't like to see it. Maybe we can make a world where that doesn't have to happen. I don't have to go onto YouTube and hear about people watching a polar bear eat a fucking seal while it screams for 10 fucking minutes. 10 minutes of fucking torture. You can't fucking stand me for 3 seconds sometimes. You want to get eaten alive by a polar bear? Oh, hey mom, the bear's still eating me. I'll call you back. Maybe it could have happened. Now that I'm thinking about it, she could have been mauled so bad all she could do was the cell phone. He fucking came, ate a little bit, left, ate her feet. How are you going to move after you got your feet chewed off? Damn.
That's intense.
Yeah. You get scratched by the cat and you're like, you fucking, like Peter Griffin on the floor for 10 minutes. Man, that really hurt. Okay, we got stuff to do. The house is on fire. You gonna stop bitching about it? Not the fire. You gonna stop bitching about the scratch? No. I usually have to make you notice it. I don't tell you what to do I?
No.
Not when when it comes down to the fucking worst of it. I have to. However, all I do is make you aware of the reality. I just remind you that you did this. And you have to feel stupid or not. And a lot of the times you choose not to feel stupid. Let's talk about the hospital trip.
Okay.
You have made fun of my dead mother since she fucking died. And I have took it on the chin. I have tried to find the humor in death. I've tried to find the humor in my brother being so upset he can't stand that shit. However, what happened when you stubbed your fucking thumb in the car and you thought it was broken and your mom freaked out and she hated me because I was going to the hospital instead of her because she loved taking you to the fucking hospital. She would drive fast, she would panic. She's like, oh, look at me. I'm fucking hot, cool mom. 10 and 2 my ass. I'm riding like a fucking, like I got a Glock in my pants right now. In a minivan. A fucking purple ass. Your thumb wasn't even as purple as her fucking minivan. It wasn't even as swollen as her fucking ego. I'm having a heart attack. Would you please buy me a chainsaw? You have not been able to laugh about any of it. And you have not made fun of yourself about that fucking thumb thing. You have not seen when you do it again just because we can't go to the hospital anymore. Because I'm not going with you. Who's gonna fucking, you gonna get an Uber to fucking get a fucking bruise checked out? And I'm laughing about shit all the time. I'm making fun of myself all the time. You were so fucking angry at me when we drove home. I wanted to laugh. I suffered having a pussy ass boyfriend, right? Traveling thousands of fucking miles to get this person who fucking lied to me. Yeah, I'm a responsible fucking man. I have family values. I have work values. I have woman values. No the fuck you don't. No you don't. No you don't. And now, after we had that, I don't know if it was before or after, but I guess so it doesn't matter. Having to sit there in a place I don't like hospitals, do I?
No.
I think they're stupid and corrupt. And they don't do shit unless you broke your fucking leg and you need a cast. Unless you need an x-ray to know exactly where bones gotta go. That's the extent of their fucking intelligence. So now you have me sit here with a thing I know ain't even broken. Do you remember when I broke my finger? We were still living in the basement?
Yeah.
With the knife because I was an idiot and I tried to unscrew something. I didn't just ask you for a screwdriver. And I cracked my fucking knuckle and I laughed and I cried and your stupid fat diabetic fat brother came down with popsicle sticks? Here, this makes a tourniquet. I'm all alone in the world with buffoons. Baboons. More niggardly than fucking your skin color represents. Risking my life. Because they're so stupid with your retard strength fucking brother. I have autism. I get angry when I can't eat Tostino's pizza. Give me he's always knocking at the door for fucking Dr. Peppers. What? And you're telling me to tell that guy to say fucking no to him? he drank too many, don't let him have. You're lucky that he was as amiable as you motherfuckers never saw. Oh, who's the one that came at me with a bat? Why? 'Cause your sister came at me? Calling the police, telling because I fucking slapped her in the face when she came to my face. And now she's trying to fucking run me over with a car in front of a cop. The cop is like, chill out, and you're telling me to call it not assault what I did to her? I fucking assaulted her. So what? I can't use words? I wouldn't say that in front of a cop. All because what? I exist with you because you wanted me there? Because you told me that you loved me? Because you told me you were fucking responsible? And now I'm sitting in a fucking waiting room for 8 fucking hours when I could be enjoying life? You didn't even bring me a Nintendo Switch. Did you have any money to get fucking snacks? No, 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 no. And then we go in, he won't even give you aspirin. There ain't nothing wrong with you. Go home, idiot. So I make fun of you, 'cause I gotta enjoy this situation somehow. My life is fucked. And you give me an attitude? Oh. And you can't laugh at yourself about it now, because you keep fucking doing it. You do it with every inch of our fucking life. Everything is horrible, but I'm gonna let it happen. It's your fault. How easy is it to keep your fingers out of things that are fucking sharp? I'm surprised you have fingers left. That's when you're supposed to clap and laugh. Standing ovation. All right, fellas, I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow night. That's life. Oh, but everybody knows how to fucking communicate with each other. The only motherfucker who knows enough words to at least talk to the variety of people that I have. And I don't know how to communicate with people. I can't fucking do it the most pinpoint, efficient way. Because everybody's different. Sometimes they're a bitch. Sometimes they're a faggot. Sometimes they're a nigger. But they're all bad. So, fucking autism, yeah, God told you that God made you special. Now you do the thing. What are you gonna do? What's special about you that you should be privileged enough to just fucking sit around and masturbate all day? What do? Show me your worth. It's not your fucking autism. It's not your fucking diagnosis. What a bunch of fucking bullshit. You can send the link now. I'm ready if you are. We have the stuff up here. Oh. Did you put it up?
No.
Already? Oh. We'll preemptively make it. But we didn't preemptively make it. It's like you think fucking skydiving is intense? You think fucking snowboarding, fucking cruising the waves, fucking whatever, driving 110 James Dean miles an hour? Try fucking saying a sentence for that long. Having the same train of thought where you're with what you feel, what you know. It's like Captain Planet, fucking reason, truth, emotion. With our powers combined, I'm a whole human being. Jesus, what?
That's intense.
Yeah. And I don't even have to risk dying unless, some Muslim shoots me in the fucking head. some crazy guy comes at the door again. My husband leaves the door unlocked. Survival ain't just knowing how best to whimper at everything. Please, 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 master, don't hurt me. Take my money, take my wallet. I watched some guy get jumped for his fucking bike. I would try to reason with them. I'm not just gonna fucking take this. Like, listen. I understand that you have your fucking problems. That's where I need to be in life. I need to keep letting people fucking talk to me so our words can get better. I know there are words to explain fucking everything. I just gotta, work on it.
I'm working on
It's okay. Listen, I ain't gonna quit one of my rants
it.
for nothing. I wonder how many times a minute women go to the hospital when they're fucking pregnant. Oh, my heart's doing something that I didn't expect. I gotta go get an EKG. A TCG. My heart's always doing weird shit. And thanks to the internet and books, turns out other people feel that way too, so it's like, okay. Know what to expect when you're expecting. Panic, 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 panic. Oh, your blood pressure. No shit, my blood pressure. You told me that my blood is moving quicker and is moving in more places, is pumping harder. Of course my blood pressure is going to be high. That doesn't mean the baby needs to come out. I feel fine. I can't see very good, but that's because I poked my eye out the other day. Fucking months ago. What a coincidence. I happen to get pregnant and go blind the same day. And it's not fucking some weird, crazy disease. Something. You couldn't make it something nice? Life, love, and truth? Life, love, truth. Listen, I want everything pretty. And I want it pretty now. Disagree with me. I can't just yell to make that. I wish. I remember back in the day how convincing people were because they would just get fucking angry. And I'm like, I want to do that someday. And then I do it, and somebody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, oh shit, I don't know, where am I? I gotta go. Had everybody who gets better eventually, they don't realize that they can't just be on the offense all the time. Like the Ethan Ela, anybody who makes those echo chambers, Neurotic, fucking, I don't know, Sargon
Oh,
Akkad.
Here at this time. Cool.
Hi.
You guys hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, and there's no echo?
Right.
It's just straight communication. The only thing that limits us is our internet connection.
Could my friends get invited to this?
Sure.
Yeah.
It'd be easy if you posted the link in the stream chat because it's hard for me to copy the link off my
Might
thing.
as well. What's the worst that can happen? Everybody's just an abused child. If somebody wants to say names or say something out of context, or it's like, hey, friend.
I don't think I do that. I think most of my friends are genuine people.
What is a genuine person? Someone who acts like you?
I mean, they're willing to. I'm somebody who talks like me. I haven't been insulting and stuff while we've talked.
No. But there are many ways to communicate. And you definitely tried to meme it up before. I think you talked about when you don't understand, you troll.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's because you say funny shit.
What kind of funny stuff do I say?
I mean, all the time, like it's just no context, like because you're not very good at giving context to what you're talking about because you like to talk about multiple things at once. So it's really hard to follow. So it's kind of funny to mess with you. So I mean,
So you're
I
saying that
understand.
you don't know the context that I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know the context, you know.
Okay. Does everybody have the same context all the time? No, right? I mean, not anybody, I would say, that live streams unless they have a bunch of friends that they've been.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that you expect people to know like a lot of the stuff you're talking about.
I don't expect people to know. I expect people to ask questions when they don't know because there's no other way to communicate. You know?
There's too many I gotta ask them.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why. And then when I was like trying to understand what you were saying, I was messaging a lot, and then you're like, I can't read all this, and then you ignored it. So
Should we stop live streaming on like Odyssey or something? Sometimes it cuts out.
Yeah, we could.
it's not. Is it?
Is it what?
Is it? Oh, so it's not picking me up very well then.
Yeah, it's going in and out. Bye, Odyssey. You're kind of useless.
I would. I would say it's my.
Oh, okay. Well, we stopped it anyway. It doesn't matter. Somebody says, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. These images make no sense." Well, here's the problem. There's a very specific way I would say that people have to understand how to communicate. Let me start all over. It's hard because everybody speaks a different language, right?
Yeah.
We were talking before and we were doing it. Even if you come in like in the middle of a conversation, there's still a way that people communicate. Instead of saying, "What are you talking about?" they say, "It makes no sense." It may make no sense to you, but now instead of the direct line to "let's understand each other," there's now like a fight happening because I have to understand where you're coming from. There could be, I don't know if it's because,
There we go.
There we go.
Every time I exit off the tab, every time I exit off the tab, it screws up.
Oh, that makes sense. Phones aren't really good at switching tabs. You can't even listen to music and on YouTube and switch tabs.
No.
There was a bunch of. Can I have the mouse? The way I try to speak is I try to speak to everyone. I've taken all the fluff, all the what makes it me as much as I can without just not communicating at all, just referring to someone else's words, a book or something. And I try to make it as digestible as possible. The only thing that would make what I say digestible is if you don't try to disagree with it all the time. You try to understand it, you know? Whereas a lot. Sorry, what?
Oh, I'm just saying I've been trying to understand as much as I can.
Okay. So where should we start understanding today?
I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about, like if I start a conversation, I'd fucking start talking about like if we're talking about philosophy and shit, I'm not gonna know what to talk about. If we're talking about Plato, I'd start with like you know what I mean. I like the philosophers I read.
Mm-hmm. But it's not about like, right? It's going to be
It's,
about trying to come to some truth that we can all understand.
yeah,
Okay. Is Deca Strider your friend? One of the friends
yeah,
that's coming in?
yeah. He's a friend of mine. He's a really nice guy.
He said just a Lego game image. I okay, the images make no sense. So they make sense to me, right? They just don't make sense to you, Deca Strider. I'm assuming that's your first and your last name.
I mean,
Uh
I like images that I don't think they make like objective sense, but like I understand what you're going for because I know the people you're making fun of and shit.
what's what do you understand about them?
Well, like Neil deGrasse Tyson's an idiot. I know that fucking Elon. I know that fucking Mr. Beast is an idiot. And
He's not objectively an idiot.
what?
Neil Tyson, he's not objectively an idiot.
Sure he is. Yeah.
So what about it makes no objective sense to you?
No, I just mean like the images don't make sense because there's just because it's comedy. It's humorous. It just doesn't make fucking sense. Doesn't mean anything. It's just if you know the
But it
person, you can like.
means it's representing the stupidity of Neil Tyson, just in
Yeah.
whatever way I made it.
I think his views are dumb on other things more, but
Okay, but we were talking about the objectivity or the lack of objectivity in the thumbnails, right? And you mentioned Neil deGrasse Tyson. Do you want to replace that with a different example?
right?
Huh?
Would you say it's subjective to you because it's based? It's obviously your humor. It's your whatever you wanted it to be when you made it.
Can you say that again? You cut out.
It is subjective to you, right? Like it's not like most people are gonna pick up on the jokes you're making with it.
What do you mean it's subjective to me? There's subjectiveness to it and there's also objectiveness to it.
You'd have to explain because
How I represented
I'm saying
Neil
the humor to you, they're comedic images.
they're humorous to me, they're comedic. You're saying that you don't like how I represented the
I'm
objectivity
not
then,
saying
yeah?
I like the images you chose.
Can you say that again? You cut out.
I like the images you chose. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying that it's cartoonish. It doesn't make sense, and that's okay. It's
Well,
subjective to
you
your.
keep can you give me like just one way to define how you feel about, because you keep changing. You're saying it's stupid, it's not stupid, it's subjective, and you're bouncing. So can you
I'm not bouncing. You're not understanding what I'm saying.
then stop changing what you're saying?
I'm
Because
not
you're
saying that it's subjective to you because it's humorous. It's funny. It's subjective to you, but it doesn't objectively make sense. It's not like when somebody shows up, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I get this joke
well, I'm
immediately."
trying to go to how we define objective, and I'm trying to get examples from you of the objectivity versus the subjectivity
I really don't want
so
to
that
have a
I
conversation
can see.
what words mean and stuff. That's just gonna fucking go nowhere.
Can you say that again?
I don't want to get into like a conversation about like what words mean and everything.
Then how are we going to understand what you mean by
By speaking the English language, I was hoping.
we're speaking the English language, right? Because I'm not asking you what object and subject, what its definition is. I'm asking you to give me an example of it.
I think objective means what objective means. And subjective means what subjective means.
Can you
Like
give me an example of the subjectivity that you're saying is something that you don't relate to with my
comedic, it's
thumbnails?
humor. Objective to your sense of humor.
It's subjective to my sense of humor.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Neil deGrasse Tyson is an idiot?
Yeah.
So there's something that we relate to in my thumbnails,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I get the humor you're going for with a lot of your images. I'm into like I like making fun of Jews and shit. I'm on board.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure what you feel right now. I've gotten so much of you like it, and I've gotten so much of you don't like it
Never
that
said I didn't like it. You're putting words in my mouth here.
if you say
See,
that
not
it's
me.
if you say something's bad about it, wouldn't that be that you feel negative about it?
There was something bad about it. I was just saying it was subjective to your sense of humor, and that I get it. I get the humor, but I'm just saying I understand why Steven doesn't get it.
Subjective to my sense of humor?
Yeah, comedy is. So, wouldn't you say comedy is subjective? Like I believe in objectivity and shit. I'm like a real
But
stickler
there's
about.
still objective things in that humor, and that's how we relate to each other with the way that I display it,
Sure,
or the way that Dave Chappelle displays his humor, or the way you display your humor.
sure,
There has to be an objectivity that we share, right?
sure, but it's still subjective to your sense of
Oh,
humor.
so Neil deGrasse Tyson shouldn't be made fun of? His idiocy
No,
shouldn't be made.
why are you inferring so
What
many
things?
No,
things?
no, no, hold on. I'm asking you, and then you can tell me if I'm understanding you or not. There's no reason to assume that I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm asking you, am I understanding you?
Uh, I don't know if you're understanding me because you keep confusing me a bit.
I don't know if you understand yourself.
I understand myself. You're obviously the one confused.
I don't, I, it's not obvious because it's not obvious to me. I know that you
It.
feel it must be obvious to you because it's obvious to you, and you
I
have
think most
friends.
people that are viewing would see the obvious. See why it's obvious.
I don't think so. I think that you say it's good, it's bad, I like it, I don't like it, it's
I never said
subjective, it's
it was good.
subjective. Okay, so
Why are you
what
implying
what
contradictions of what I'm not being
what
contradictory?
parts are subjective and what parts are objective? And let's follow instead of moving on to wherever you decide to move on to. Let's
I think
focus
you're so
on one
subjective
main topic. Can we do
that
that?
your humor of towards, but your humor in your images is subjective. I can see the objectivity in Patrice O'Neill being an idiot. I can see what if there's making jokes about Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I said Patrice O'Neill. Damn it. But yeah.
Names, who cares?
What? I just got confused.
I do, although who cares about names? Right?
Got confused.
Adam David Tyler. He's my
There's-
favorite Hanson band member.
There's a reference. That's
Yeah. Can we have a little drink? My mouth is very dry.
that's what.
I think I know that there is a way that people communicate that is subjective in a way that they don't understand. And I don't think it's if we can agree on things, right? Everything that you don't agree with me on shouldn't just be an argument. Maybe
Well, I
we
mean,
can.
I think we were really disagreeing on a lot. I think you just didn't understand what I was saying.
I would like you to help me understand in a way that
All
will.
I was saying humor was subjective. While you might be addressing objective things, the humor itself is still
I
subjective.
need to know what your reference of subjective is by telling me what that subjective stuff is. To you, that definition doesn't give anybody that context.
What the fuck?
Just tell her that humor is subjective because it's entirely based on taste.
Humor is subjective because it's based on taste.
Okay, and I'm trying to go from the objective to the subjective to see why you're saying what you're saying about my thumbnails. You said they make no sense, right?
Saying that to most people they wouldn't make sense because it's subjective.
Okay, so
like,
to most people, it wouldn't
Okay.
make sense. Not to you.
it made sense to me. Like I understand the jokes you're going for with a lot of the images. Like there's still stuff I don't get, like, but I still get like a lot of the humor you're going for in the images.
I think criticizing the images in the first place was a stupid move because we do way more nonsensical stuff.
Yeah, well, I wasn't criticizing it. I was literally saying I get the humor. I was literally saying that
But I
Steven
don't
get it.
understand that.
Steven was saying stupid.
Yeah.
If
Sorry,
I don't
I'm not.
understand it, we can talk in a way that's easier so that I can understand it instead of telling me that I don't understand it. I feel like that's a waste of time. By the way, where's your friend? I hear him somewhere else.
A lot. I don't know.
Huh?
We can move on to something that matters.
Everything matters. Where is your friend Steven?
I don't know. Did you send a link in the stream?
Yeah.
With the
Husband?
if you send a link in the password and everything, Steven might be able to join at some point. I don't know.
You
Oh,
see the
okay.
yellow box.
So your friend isn't going to be in the ninja room?
He might if you send the if he sees the link and everything in the chat.
Okay.
And there's the pass.
Does
He knows the room name.
do you
and all
want to
that.
just stick it in there anyway? How are you talking to him? That's weird. So many weird strings of communication. Can you just write it again in case? I don't know if it stays there. I don't know if he's here now. And when he comes in, it just won't be there.
I don't know. I don't know.
Pinned.
Send him the link.
Okay. So it's pinned. Whenever he's here, he will be here.
Okay. I also have my friend. I mean, my friend Spencer might want to join at some point. I don't know if he would though.
Spencer can join as well. I think we were talking about last time. It jumped to a lot of things. We didn't get to very many conclusions about anything. There was talking about Greece, talking about Aristotle versus Socrates versus Plato. There was the way you feel that men and women should interact with each other. Or is there something that you feel that you want to either understand or you want to try to debate, or is there a strong held belief that maybe you don't know if it's so strong held? I don't know. Give me something of you right now. Try to come towards me and
I don't
to
know.
talk
What do
to
you?
me.
I don't know. What do you think about? Do you know anything about Ayn Rand or objectivism, egoism, anything like that?
I understand the concepts that people use words like isms to define. I don't think racism is, a good thing. I don't think egoism is. I don't think people understand enough to give things names like that, but
People talk about racism. Oh, damn it, my game just crashed. Anyways, I think when people talk about racism, they imply like hatred behind it, which I think kind of makes the word useless. Do you know what I mean? Like when people mean hate racism to mean hatred,
who's
like the
people?
word. I just mean generally people. I don't want to get into too many semantics. Uh, I hate
Wait,
semantics.
semantics is the understanding of words, isn't it, husband?
Yeah, that's what semantics means.
If we are
Yeah.
going to do the literal terms of things by way of dictionaries and stuff, it would be a good idea to look it up, because we had to look it up the other day and we were very surprised that there was a culture or something, or a group of people that wanted to understand the essence of what they were saying to try to communicate better with each other. And I think, if anything, semantics is the best thing.
I really hate semantics. I would rather not discuss.
It sucks that, I mean, a lot. Do you think your hate restricts you ever?
No, I think it gets me to them down to the point. Like I just want to get to the point of things. I'd rather I don't want to argue semantics as much as I want to just know what you mean by what you're saying. I don't fucking I want to I like the sentiment more than the semantics.
The sentiment more than the semantics. If my sentiments are semantic, what do you feel about that?
Then I'm better at understanding you than you are at understanding me. But
Where do you get that understanding from? The things that make you hate?
no, can I talk about because we were talking about I was trying to say about racism that I don't like what people have turned the word racism into, and I mean generally because I generalize and I think that people should just deal with that.
I think that there's a politics to the way words are used. I think I
Yeah,
understand that instead of me asking you questions, that you would prefer me just saying exactly what I mean, and that would take a long time. Are you willing to hear rants like I do rants, and I'll stop for you to understand, but also, the semantics of words is going to be brought up again.
I look, some semantics is fine, but I just don't like making conversations about semantics, if you get what I mean.
Studying the nature of semantics instead of just doing the thing, right?
I just rather get down to
Okay.
the actual I want to that we want to talk about because it's better if you get this, it's better just to get the sentiment of what somebody's saying and go with that. I
Okay.
think first.
It's weird that you would call it sentiment. I would call my words exactness.
I,
So I will try to be as exact with you now that I understand you more. I will try to be exact as I can. There
okay.
is power behind words, and every word that is used generally is how it's used generally with power. That doesn't talk to the submissiveness of people to that power.
Well,
So what
I don't know.
people feel is different than the general understanding of a word.
I mean, I don't always use words the same way everyone else does either. Like when it comes to like take the word selfishness and altruism,
Me
right?
too. Oh, we were just talking about that. How do you feel about selfishness and altruism? If I may, I would like to tell you how I feel first so that you maybe know how to direct your response to me. I
Sure.
think altruism is bad and selfishness is good.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
I agree. Because like that's what I was gonna say is I think when I think of selfishness, I think of what's doing and not like, oh, I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna fucking destroy my body with alcohol and drugs and shit. But
Mhm.
I mean selfishness is in what's it best for myself, what's in my
Mhm.
self interest. While as altruism, I think more as like self sacrifice for other people, which I don't really think is morally justified.
Everything that I always say, my semantics is based on my belief that selfishness is good. That fuck the word, fuck the meaning. Everything starts with the self because we are the thing that observes the reality around us.
Yeah, I agree completely.
So when it comes to like altruism, that is a word like racism. I feel because it's an ism. Every time I see the pattern of motherfuckers out there making isms, I can trace it back to bad power. So I don't use any word ever that has an ism, and that includes egoism and the other isms. I see that as a trap, so I see Ayn Rand as a threat and her ideas as a threat. Her giving in
So
to the
saying that I'm a spook, eh?
are you a spook? Are you
I know
glowing? Is that
Ayn
a
Rand.
spook?
I'm
What?
I think
saying
he
you're saying
said Ayn Rand, not him.
Ayn Rand is a spook? Ayn Rand is a spook. She's a CIA glow nigger. She's part of the Illuminati. She
I love Ayn
glows.
Rand.
You love her because she represents the woman that
Rand.
an ideal of a woman.
Though I do hate things about Ayn Rand, but Ayn Rand I love because like we were just saying about selfishness and altruism, very much is in line with her ideology. But
When I like something about someone and don't like something about something or someone, I like to find, or it's best for me to find the truth outside of that bitch so that I don't have to like her. That I just understand more of the world and then I can move past her idiocy. Because to like somebody who's an idiot but also says some good things, that means they found a truth they didn't deserve. And you can take it and you can fucking move forward.
I mean, I like people generally. I like finding things I like about people.
Hmm.
But
Wait, who's saying who doesn't deserve a fucking truth? I think everyone's entitled to know what a truth is.
Steven, if you're gonna join in on this conversation, you should join the link.
I tried, couldn't get it into that.
Does it have enough rooms in here?
Yeah, there's.
Should we
Fit
try
boatloads.
again? So
Did you put the name of the room in the
Yeah. The link.
No, she did. The link
Yeah.
she sent me, I don't know where to go to type in that name of the room.
Oh,
It showed up.
The link.
So there's a room name. It's just called something.
Yeah, but he clicks that link so that he gets to the place to type the name in, right? Okay.
Oh, okay. I think I see the problem.
Okay.
I think he sees
What
the
I
problem
post,
now.
I don't think there's a space.
There's supposed to be a space somewhere.
The link should just be /comms, not comms group. It looks like.
Oh, okay. So there's a bad link, and we're getting a better link, a more accurate link.
That is my dumb fault.
It has always been a necessary thing to talk like I'm asking questions, because then nobody will let me in, and then they never let me in after that. So I'm learning a lot right now from a child, god damn it, or at least experiencing life with a child. You're not a child, you're an adult, you're just younger than me. I don't know what an adult is. It's a person who has to exist in the world with their own survival skills and naked and afraid.
I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people that are like young adults are still mentally children, sure.
I don't understand people the way they talk. There's the way I try to speak is precise, and you called it sentiments, or the way that they feel. How did you say it?
I like to argue. I just mean that I don't like to get into conversations where all we do is argue about semantics. If I understand the sentiment, I just like to go with that.
I don't trust people to understand the sentiment, I think, and I've been trying to find that in them, but the way that we've talked so far, I do understand, at least in the conversation that we're having now, once we got to that. But online is like the Wild West of fucking words, you know?
Yeah.
I don't understand where anybody's sentiments are. I only know where my sentiments are, and it's absolutely motherfucking truth. Because I'm not allowed to do it any other way. I've been dragged into a corner. Anyway. Tony,
okay, I think I'm here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. All right, I'm only gonna be here for like a few minutes because I gotta get going soon. But just figured, what the hell? Hey, Corbin.
Howdy, Pilgrim.
Would you like to say stuff since you're only going to be here for a while, or talk about something that you want to talk about? I don't know how this shit works.
There's not really anything I want to talk about in particular, I guess I can ask what you guys are. I hopped out for a little bit, so I got a little confused. So what is the topic of discussion, I guess?
Well, we were talking about Ayn Rand, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
We were also talking about isms, and we also talked about races. So if you want to pick it up wherever you would like, kind of bring order to it.
Well, can I?
All right.
Hey, making about racism.
What was that?
I was just wondering if I can go back to my point I was making about racism.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just saying that I think the word racism was useful, but the way that what people have done to the word racism has made it useless. Like, because now people use it to hatred, but the original word for racism just meant that you thought races. You just think that races are different. You just think that.
Where do you get your what things mean originally from? Because I don't know what anything ever meant originally, because it seems to be just that it started from that power, you know? And people, yeah, because this is exactly happening. Like with LJ Hoover, whatever is LBJ, turns out that he fucking assassinated so many people in his time, and he could have been responsible for fucking JFK, and he was with the CIA, and he was making money in these certain places. Follow the money, follow the power. And he wrote a whole bunch of racism bills. So did it start before that?
So wait, let me ask you a question. So you're saying that, and I'm probably just misinterpreting this entirely, but you're saying that the origin of words and meanings are sketchy because people in power have made it up. Is that where you're coming from? I could be completely wrong.
Nope, that's basically what I'm saying. You are absolutely correct.
All right, so you think that people in power have made words and the meanings behind words, and those have changed over time due to the power shifting.
Yeah, it's not something maybe that has happened forever, and it's not maybe a whole bunch of words, but there is a group of words that hold a power throughout time that follow the same pattern, even just with like religious words. There's certain things, Madonna, Mother Mary, fucking, there's been like these controlled memes. And who controls I don't write the fucking Webster's dictionary. I don't participate. I don't fund that stuff. You gotta follow money. It comes from the colleges. You can see the corruption in colleges throughout time, from the 1600s with Rene Descartes because of the problems with religion, to when religion wasn't as powerful, but it was people vying for that power. There's Napoleon Bonaparte, when he was trying to get rid of a lot of the non-religious stuff, he was trying to group people together with religions because they'd be more controllable, but he had to give power and had to have good conversation, whatever, with the Romans. So there's a pattern throughout time that it's not just I see this thing in a video once. It's you can watch the pattern of control for words. Words are power all the time. Words are power, even just individual to individual. You can see all these monkeys fighting all over the place, ooh-ahing everywhere. They don't have to be fucking human, but words have been people try to censor words. Don't say that. This is not how you do manners. This is not what God wants. It's always the same bullshit.
So you make a good point on that, because there is a truth to be said about the fact that people do try to censor words, or like say certain words aren't allowed, or like you're supposed to say certain phrases or certain pronouns that people should follow. Like you're supposed to call a trans person a woman, even though
brand new fucking thing.
Yes. Okay. So you do have a point in that.
And it was racism in the 90s. It was all of that. Oh, don't say black, say African American. Teach Ebonics in schools. There's always this force of agenda. All that racism stuff is just a dribble from a time that you may not have existed. Pre 9/11 shit.
Well, yeah, like I really hate George Carlin, if I'm being honest, but there was
I do too.
There was a thing George Carlin said that I liked about soft language, about how people in power manipulate language to make it soft so it loses its meaning.
Oh yeah, with the PTSD, and it used to be shell shock.
Yeah.
Shell shock, if you look at what shell shock is and how it transformed into PTSD, it is not the same thing, because shell shock was way more physical. They have documents even on YouTube. They have people who came back from World War I, and they would witness all of their problems, and they put together the physical problems and the mental problems because they were too stupid at the time to know that there was a difference. And people didn't really know because they were less introspective than we are now. They had to be cold. They were going to die soon. Everything was going to be taken away from them. We have a totally different perspective from them than we do now. And to see something that we can record with video going from shell shock to I need a dog because I have PTSD because I saw a cop one time. But it is kind of the same thing to the emotional problem. The emotional problem with shell shock is the same exact of just being scared. It's a general thing for everyone, but the shell shock is I can't fucking walk straight because the bombs have fucking physical magnitude in relation to my body.
Mhm.
Sorry. Thirsty.
But like I've noticed that like language has I've noticed that language has generally been changed a lot, even in like my lifetime, which is very short. But like a lot of in like a lot of words now like have lost a lot of the meaning that they used to have, and that's just what I was saying about racism, is that I feel like the word racism is just generally used now as a way to say this guy's a bad guy because he thinks he must be they imply that you must be hateful just because you think races are
Oh
different.
yeah, they've definitely taken that racism thing from it's when you don't let black people into a place that you sell cheeseburgers to, even if you were born as a baby as white, you're racist. Babies are racist. We have one of those things.
Yeah.
That one made sense. They all make sense, and they're all good. I love my fucking humor. I think I get right into it. Plus, I don't spend time on the aesthetic, the subjective part of it. You know, I kind of just let my lack of skill show, and what I learn on the way, and the colors that I like, and the things that I find funny. I haven't ever used that silly guy in the back, and I know it's been years, but like if I don't laugh like that, I'm gonna cry because Neil deGrasse Tyson is so fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well,
that makes me racist.
Giant coward. Like he definitely had like beliefs that like I don't think he was ever like as smart as people thought he was, but he used to have like actual
What did he do?
beliefs.
What is he known
Huh?
for? What is he known for?
He's known for like his show where he talks about space and shit, but I think a lot of stuff about space actually we don't know shit about.
Oh fuck yeah.
Like
what was his crowning achievement? What gave him the ability to be fucking or triggered meme, whatever he's known for?
I wouldn't really know.
He just redefined, because he saw a pattern that nobody else wrote down. He saw a comet do something in space that Pluto also did, and Pluto didn't do a lot of the things that the other planets did. So he just drew a line between it's becoming a bigger thing, or this is how bigger things became these big things. He drew a line between the creation of planets and there's too many planets, so I'm just rotating now.
Mm-hmm.
So who cares? Pluto still is a big thing that isn't like those other things he was measuring it by anyway. It did a little bit of planet stuff, or it did a little bit of
comet stuff.
Yeah, it did a little bit of both. So he decided to call it something else. That means that he doesn't know shit. He saw a pattern to the point where somebody else didn't. He was just climbing the mountain of fucking piss and shit and said, I saw something different and now I can call this by my name or by a fucking transformer name. This
Yeah,
process.
well, yeah, like scientists just redefine shit and then act like it's a new discovery, but like
Mm-hmm.
Pluto's still the thing it's always been.
So why the fuck does he have any say in anything? This is a problem. Because
Yeah.
people, I think because this is no insult to how you represent yourself, but the way that what did he call it? What did you call it? Sorry, the ooh,
Root cause analysis.
what? No. Instead of talking matter of factly, instead of or like how you feel instead of the semantics of how you
Yeah.
feel.
Sentiment.
Sentiment. Because people haven't gone through the semantic thing, they don't know as much as you do, Waffles. So they're getting away with a lot of stuff. And that's a big problem. So what do we do about that? You got any ideas? I know you don't like to talk about the semantics, but because other people don't understand semantics, they're getting away with murder literally. Literally.
Well, yeah, I understand that semantics are important. I just mean that like when I understand what somebody means, I don't like to get into a big
I had to
conversation.
question you. And I'm glad I did because now we can talk better.
Yeah. But like I damn it, I had something I wanted to say about oh yeah, when it comes to scientists like or not just that, but like professionals, people are like this guy's a professional. His opinion matters because he's got this job that
Mm-hmm.
may that makes his opinion important because he's got a fucking job. Like I hate that shit. Like that we're just supposed to believe people because they're in this position of power or in this position of whatever.
What
And
do we do about it?
fine our words because it's their job to know what they're talking about, you know?
What are do you think that this is happening for a reason?
Well, I mean, I think that it is like, I mean, a global conspiracy, I guess, to control the way we think and control the way that we view the world so
Do you
that
think
Well,
these
either
people are
way,
smarter than you?
I'm gonna head out real quick. I gotta get going, but it was good hopping in.
I hope you come back. I'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you later.
Take it easy, guys.
See you, Steven. I'm assuming you guys can hear me, right?
Hi,
yeah, I
Spencer.
hear
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good to hear.
And you?
Better. Because I'm glad that this went from I don't know what's going on because there's just a bunch of fucking words being written down and I'm trying to communicate with people to now we're talking without all that fluff and seeing what we agree with and stuff. So,
yeah. I mean, that's what I've been trying to say is that we probably agree on a lot of things. It's just like hard to understand sometimes. But it's better to talk in person. Like you understand people a lot better when you get to talk in person.
there may be a lot of biases that you have based on those professionals. You know how we got to trust these people, we got to trust those people. I think it would be very important for because you know that I know too that we're getting fucked because these people have power for no fucking reason. That
Mm-hmm.
if we can just weed out the things that you may not understand yet, that is affected by that problem that we're all having problems about, like the Aristotle thing. You know, there's a lot of history that has either been rewritten or that the opinions of the self have a pull towards. Take, for example, Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe that he was great at all. And I know that you said when we were talking before that he brought people together and all of these things. I would say that the circumstances that we watched him exist in show that he was not great. His
Well,
father, what?
good.
Sorry.
Even Aristotle, even Aristotle said that how does it go? Oh yeah, you can recognize a tyrant because he cares more about immigrants than his own people. So I don't like really agree with Alexander the Great in the in the in the way he tried to I don't know if unite the world is the right way to say it, but I don't agree with what he did.
So, do you think he caused more bad than good?
Well, yeah, I think that people generally were better off without were better off where they were. People's cultures were better off without.
But it didn't last, did it? It fell. It crumbled. Alexander took it all. He was a bad boy. He hated his father. It was a confusing time because his father couldn't educate him, right? His father was dealing with all of everybody's lives hanging in the balance, and your morality was the decider of if you'd live and die. Socrates or Plato, writing as Socrates, had conversations about what is an unjust man versus a just man. And in those times, they had being unjust was seen as good because people could reason for any reason. All they had to do was quote something that was stupid that came from the before time. And Plato,
It's like the words that the poet said are the source of power.
yeah,
I get to sacrifice this kid because the poet said the rains will come without sacrifice.
Socrates as Plato, or Plato as Socrates, I don't know how much of it was Socrates, but I know Plato is the best person to know who Socrates was, so I might as well just call him Socrates. But
Well, I mean, like being an asshole when I was saying that Socrates isn't real because I just wanted to fuck around, be a little cheeky with it, but like a lot of shit that's written about the Greek philosophers isn't true because it's just written by Aristotle and Plato from, if they were real, from talking to them and not actually just direct quotes, or because they don't have writings themselves, a lot of them.
I don't think even that they were writing about them, but they were just using those names and how they know that person and representing it in the stories, because all they had at the time were the myths. They had Odysseus and Zeus to write about. They had to write about then Socrates instead. Aristotle had to put a character, Plato or something, in his book, because who else was he going to represent with these stories?
That's what the conspiracy is, right? That Aristotle and Plato actually existed much later than like Socrates and Diogenes, and that they just used them as talking points, and that they didn't really ever really talk to them.
I know that to be not true. I know that Plato was a student, quote unquote. He followed Socrates and wanted to learn what Socrates believed in because he was attracted to it. And that Aristotle went to Plato's school right before he died. Because I have a book. It's some college, Chicago something. It's an encyclopedia of the great works of history. And you know that the great is a stupid word because they have Plato, Aristotle, and Karl fucking Marx and Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, they're
retarded. But what it is just trying to give you what best was in those people's pen. Having something that they trusted, translated it. Give the Sigmund Freud and the Karl Marx, just having someone interpret as literally as they can from the different languages.
Yeah, without the personal interpretation, just
Yeah.
as literal as they can be.
And Plato was something, maybe, hopefully, because it follows everything that he's ever written, huh?
Karl Marx, right? Not Carl Jung. Like, you are meaning what you're saying?
Yeah, Karl Marx. No, Carl Jung was not in. I think he didn't exist. Then does he have Carl Jung? I don't know, but I wasn't talking about Carl Jung.
I mean, you said Sigmund Freud, but I don't.
Yeah.
Because Sigmund Freud.
Oh,
Jung,
yeah, no. It's these two characters are just part of this encyclopedia of works. It also has a lot of Roman works. What's it, Flavius, and what's his name?
Yeah, like Josephus and
I like
Tacitus.
personally. I like Carl Jung, honestly.
But there's books like Locke too.
Carl Jung is interesting, but I do have about him.
Yeah.
It was good he did what he did, and I don't want to dog on people because it's not about hating Ayn Rand, it's about becoming more intelligent than her, because if you hate, it slows you down.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I mean. Though, is like there's lots of things I disagree with Sigmund Freud, Carl Jung, Ayn Rand, and people like that. But I still read a lot of their writings and agree with lots of what they have to say too. Like I don't really hate people. I just try to find the good in people and then separate that from the bullshit.
I think that you are definitely, if I may, you're definitely on a very good track. Probably smarter than 99% of the population right now. I think there's a lot of biases that you could find out you might have, and it might make you stronger, but to have like
humble person alive. It's true.
You're what?
I said I'm the smartest, most humble person alive. It's true.
Humble. Is it humble? No. I think. Oh, okay. I think that you definitely try to exert a power that, because you know these things, people should follow your train of thought.
Not necessarily. I still like I'm an idiot about a lot of things, I'll be honest. I just like to point out when other people are being dumb.
I think it's in the way that you communicate that says that. I think that there's an ego inside every man, and this is, I'm gonna say it, you could agree or disagree, but I know that this is true, and we can talk about it and come to it. We're just gonna disagree at this point. There's a part of man's ego that can be understood by a woman, because I'm a woman and I think I'm on the verge of understanding everything about man. There's a part of man that he represents himself as on the inside that is vulnerable to other men, and is that vulnerability can only be seen once I teach women to let a man reflect himself on her.
Well, I think what Carl Jung says about the shadow self and the anima is true. Men do have like a feminine side, but men also have like a side that wants like. Well, Sigmund Freud talked more of like the side of man that wants to just fucking kill everything.
You know what I see both of them representing? That man that they don't understand. They're calling it shadow men, and they're telling you their experiences of that shadow self that they have, but they don't understand something very essential about it. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but that it cannot be understood until a woman understands it. And if a woman understands it, the man has to change a little bit. So that shadow thing is just that best man that can represent himself on the outside, take over the world. That's what I want for us, husband.
Well, I see like a lot of people like shadow self doesn't even just like some, like I used to think of shadow self before I learned more about it as just being like, oh, the part of you that wants to fucking kill everything. But no, it's like the part of yourself that you hide from
Yep.
other people and you put inside, and it could be insecurities. Like
The
your shadow
part
self could,
that also people try to control in you, right? The
like
vulnerable part.
the part that you hide from other people, I guess, or you hide from yourself that you don't. But like that's the whole point of like I think
What do you hide?
philosophy or whatever is that you're supposed to understand the shadow self and be able to incorporate that into your life in a healthy way.
Sorry, what did you say, husband? What
What
does he personally hide, or
like,
what?
just what
Or
what
what
do
is meant to be hidden
yeah.
in there? What do you think is meant to be hidden here, or why do you hide it, or why do people hide it? Why do men hide it? Because
Well,
also first, sorry, this is only about men, right? This isn't about just humans in general. This isn't about men and women. We don't have this shadow self.
it can be about humans in general, but I always find men more psychologically complex than women anyway. Well, not necessarily true either. It's just about men are more relative to ego and power and things like that, while women are more. Uh, it's
I
hard
can
to
tell
explain.
you. I can tell you what it is if you'd like,
Hmm.
because I think I'm pretty much an expert of me at this point.
Well,
I have a desire, I have a need for men. And
Mhm.
I think every woman has a need for a man because we're weaker than you. We need your protection. And that's
Mhm.
the pattern that we have existed in anyway. And it's not about, oh, let's just fucking do something so that all the women have the power. It's about
Mhm.
understanding that perfect balance. And I know I need that perfect balance because I've tried to find it in you, husband. And it's knowing what you need, knowing what I need. It's measuring you by myself and sacrificing to find where you need to be versus where you need to be. It's not something that every woman can do. It's something that women have to find all their hurt to and start hugging each other about it and stop fighting men about it so that we can love each other instead of just politically exist together.
Well, I think well, you've probably noticed that like a lot of women I think get sort of uh damn it. Sometimes I have to like think about how I want to articulate what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, all the time. I understand. Take all the time you need. I will give it to you. Shut
But like I've noticed like women can like the way women think of relationships is different than the way most men I've known think of relationships. Like most men I know don't really are like just like don't really even think about like the benefits they get out of a relationship. Like most men are just like, this woman's hot.
up.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, and it's like a crazy woman that obviously would not be good for having children with. But they're like, oh, it's a hot woman, and I want to have kids with her. I want to have a bunch of kids with her. You're not real and not realistically thinking about what is best for those children and that whether or not that woman would even be good at taking care of them. Or, but while women are much more like business they strategize in a much more like business angle when it comes to relationships.
We've
Like
been
they want
manipulated to
get
be that way. This is the period that we live in. That wasn't how we were before. 10 years ago, it wasn't how we were before. It's something that corporate fucking America has uh brainwashed women to feel. That's how they get their power over men, or in spite of men, despite men, but really under the exact thumb of men. um we're emotional wrecks and we don't know what we want, and the reason we're wrecks is because that's where we came from. We just got to understand our emotion and understand your emotion and work from there. But right now I definitely see how you would see that women are business oriented. It's all a power struggle, but we're scared and we need that protection, and a lot of women don't know that. But they see it. Oh,
Well-
just all these men are fighting for me. Yeah, okay, I'm protected. Shut up. You're an idiot. ISIS exists. Fuck you. Your
Well,
baby's
you
at
know,
risk
like,
all the time.
it's like the blatant hypocrisy
Mm-hmm.
of feminism.
Oh, we got an
where it's
ism.
like
A dumb ism.
I don't where it's like women are equal to men and we should have the same opportunities and
No,
as men,
that's
but men
stupid.
should still protect us.
I don't
But
think.
also,
Who tells
So,
men what?
like if they get in, you might say, like, was I raped? I think I was raped.
Oh shit!
And
Sorry.
it's like such a hypocrisy because obviously, if men and women are equal, then why can't they have sex the same way? Like it's a like there's just a lot of blatant hypocrisy in how
Everybody's reason. I think it's
feminism-
because everybody's stupid.
like, there's
That's
just a
that
blatant hypocrisy in
stupid
feminism.
objectivity or whatever, or that objective. People are objectively stupid right now, for sure.
Am I still connected?
You was cutting in
Yeah.
and out. It was kind of, and you went like really fast one time. You had to go
Oh,
fast.
they're gone. They disconnected.
Oh no!
Spencer,
Us-
are you there? Your mic is off, I think.
What?
I'm here as far as I'm aware.
We can still hear you.
I wonder what happened.
What's?
What? Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear.
No,
Can
they're
you hear us,
disconnected. You don't
Spencer?
see that, do you? They're disconnected.
I can hear. I can hear you guys.
can hear you, but you can't hear them.
Why are they
Hey.
not on here then?
Okay.
Oh, I
do you
see
hear
them.
us now?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see them.
A little bit of disconnect, a little bit of reconnect.
I mean, I can hear you. I'm pretty sure Corbin's the problem.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Oh,
We can all
okay.
hear each other.
So we're all good to go. Yes.
Also, I think this conversation we've been having today is going insanely better than the conversation we had last time. Like we've been doing pretty good staying on these topics and saying our points.
Yeah, I would say so as well. It takes time to get to know people. I still got to learn how to talk to people because I don't understand anything about them because they're so contrary. You know, I can't expect you to be any different than all these other fucking crazy people. You know what I mean? I have to do those tests, and it's hard to know where to go, you know? It's just like be as objective and like asking you questions as possible to try to figure shit out, to try to see where I fit. And also, that might have a lot to do with women. You were telling me before, husband, that, you know, if there was something that had to be done, dudes could just come together and know their role and shit. That ain't me. I'm different. I'm built different. All female is autistic. Quote that.
It is kind of true, but
I think
I mean,
it's
like,
because
well, I
we
mean,
don't understand
I actually,
each other.
I sort of actually disagree because I think that I always thought of autism as like a more masculine kind of mental illness, along with sociopathy. Like I always associated those as being more masculine forms of.
Autism is another ism, and I've heard they've tried to take women into it, like they are in their heads. Other autists that are dudes are in their heads, but I would definitely see autism the same way as something that was manly. They don't talk, they don't look for anything, like that kid we fucking lived next to who would just climb on anything, didn't know the consequence. It's because these boys are being treated poorly, I would say, that always leads to the same thing, the autism or the sociopathic.
I actually I hate I hate those kinds of words like autism, sociopathy, and like ADHD. Because to me, those are actually just ways that that
You
people
feed the system.
attack masculinity.
Oh,
Like I feel like it is a direct attack on men. Those words, because it's a
all
way of
words
saying
are racism is a direct attack on people. It's all negative bullshit because bad people control words. Fuck socio. We can say what we mean without using those words. It just takes a long time. That's what
like
I
I think
try to do.
I think it's insane when people like or like to use sociopath as like an insult towards people, as if not being being an unemotional kind of person or an unempathetic kind of person isn't insanely useful in the way our society operates. Like those
Yeah,
types
it's
of
how
people
they got
have
abused. It's
that they could have.
useful, but it's not good. And everything that has been beaten down, all the autism, all the bipolars, all the depressed, all the PTSD, all the schizophrenic, they're all words to pin people in a certain light, and it always keeps them down instead of understand.
Yeah.
You use ism or sociopath instead of saying it's a person who went through these certain circumstances that led him to be the way he is.
Hmm.
And that's where we find all the abuse.
And
Children, sorry.
I just mean like it's aggravating because instead of finding the way that these people like the best jobs that these people could have, or like what kind of relationships and roles they can play, people would
How
rather
much
just
they can understand about themselves.
lock them into a room and like call them and treat them like they're retarded.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is treated as if you can't understand anything objectively about yourself.
Mhm.
Whatever's objective comes from those books, comes from the doctors, comes from the MMR fucking retard
Mhm.
sociology, blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
back to professionals. I'm a
Yep.
professional. I know what's best for you.
And isn't it funny that the professionals are the ones that get murdered by the fucking KGB or all the socialist communist shit? Because they're under their thumb. If the
Mm-hmm.
government turns on you, you're fucking dead. You don't have a gun. And now everybody doesn't have what little not stupidity you used to have. Now nobody knows how to bandage something because your retard
Like,
ass is gone.
well, that's something like I always think is crazy. Like when old people I know, like I think obviously like owning a gun is a good idea, but like when old people are like, oh yeah, when the government comes, I'll be ready. It's like, no, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
Like if the government
if you're in a
you're done.
war, right? Because obviously they got guns. They're in a war, so you're just waiting for the enemy to come to your doorstep. You ain't winning shit. You're going down in a blaze of glory, right, Bon Jovi?
Yeah, yeah, a blaze of glory. Yeah.
Fucking Blaze of Glory is from like the 90s, and it was not played all my fucking life. It was not in circulation in all the radios, but now all of a sudden they play it every 30 minutes. They want people to either go down in a blaze of glory because it's on like the country-ish things, it's the oldies, it's the newies. It's a conspiracy to have people be locked in their home until somebody knocks it down and fucking kills them and takes all their
Like people that think like that they're like the idea of like a one man army is nuts. Like you're the one guy against the government that's gonna fucking you're gonna take them down or you're gonna die
So
in
what do
this.
we do instead, right?
Well, I
Or
mean, like because people need to if we collectively can see that somebody that there's an enemy, we need to come to like people
how do we
obviously
do
need
that?
that enemy. Well, it's probably not gonna happen, but I'm just saying that that's what the only way it would
Wait,
work is if
we
together.
have to know if we could do it first. I know that it's would be a really
Well, you
almost
could because obviously the government. There's not as many people in the government as there are people generally, and if people got together, they wouldn't be
who's
able to take it.
smarter, the president or you?
Uh, That's why I'm saying not us as not me as an individual, but as a like people need to come together collectively.
How who brings them together?
That's what I'm saying is that like it couldn't be me. That's why like
Why
that's
not?
what I'm. Well, I mean, like, because I wouldn't know how to organize it, but
What if we make it me instead?
I don't think that would work either.
Why? I brought you to
Well,
me.
no,
How many fucking email and passwords and 3-factor authentications did you do to fucking talk to me with 3 different accounts? And now we're here talking. I attracted you to me.
But well, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like small communities come together and everything, but like
So let's.
collectively as a people probably aren't going to come together
You got
to rise against
friends?
the government.
Spencer's here. Hi, Spencer. What do you feel about all this?
I don't think Spencer would be very helpful.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of like a boss fight in the game I'm playing. What are we talking about?
Okay, Chris Chan. We're talking about a whole. We're talking about taking over the world right now. I mean,
What do I feel about taking over the world?
All the world's
Yeah.
problems.
I think there's a way we can take over the world. Because I think everybody is stupider than us right now.
I mean, I agree that people are generally dumb, but I think that's why we wouldn't be able to get together. Like, because people are just too dumb.
We can make them smarter, I think. People follow everything all the time. We take a look.
Like,
if people will eat Tide Pods.
Yeah,
we'll
you
do
can
anything.
convince people to do anything. We can convince them instead of like, oh, it would be funny if we have them mix fucking Clorox bleach and ammonia on 4chan. We trick
but like
them.
you said, if the government wants you dead, you're dead. Like, if you even started organizing things, they would kill you. That's why we couldn't. Like, if we all could come together collectively, you could overrun the government. But the government's going to kill anybody that tries to get together.
I think we can do it very quickly before they can catch on because they're so stupid.
I think the government is a lot dumber than people make them out to be.
Yeah. And I think that if we put our heads together, I think that we could outsmart them. Because we will never trigger an alarm that they're too stupid to see. We don't need guns. We don't need fucking anger. That's the things that they look out for. If we spread fucking the most ultimate, truest fucking reason using the language to come together, because this is the only thing that separated us, is language. I came to you with the language that you didn't understand, and you came to me with the language I didn't understand. All I knew is that I wanted to try to understand people, and now you're here. And I want to apply that to the rest of the fucking world. My world that I want, my utopia, is your utopia. Except it's a little bit... your reason comes from me or from your wife, your future perfect wife, instead of the fucking government. And intelligence, if we can bring wisdom to people, if we can make people wise, everything will fall into place. We don't need fucking laws to write down and fucking bullshit to fight over. If we all agree on the same best thing, we can all have our subjective opinions, we can all have our nice stuff, but you are ruled by nature and the universe and your decision to do the best thing. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, let's write about it for fucking 1800 years. Fuck off. Everybody made all the mistakes already, is what I'm saying too. We can learn from everybody's fucking mistakes. So any challenge that may come about our way, history's already done. Don't do that thing. I can think about other things and, oh, look, I'm not trying to fight with everybody. I'm not trying to fucking rob banks or go to work 18 hours a day. I have time to think.
Discovered not to put lead on our face. That's
yeah. There's a lot of things that we know not to do now. Like eat Tide Pods. Or tell children to eat Tide Pods. Or because we've learned the lessons from them. We understand the stupidity of what people were when they did it. The ACLU challenge, the ice bucket fucking whatever, the Lego movie, all of the things that people succumb to and why they succumb to them is all fucking written in history already.
Mhm.
We don't need no books. Well, we do need the books because we got to read the information. But we got all the information. We become different than that information. We don't follow any of that. We try to be better than that. And nature has a place for that. I know this. And it's doing good things and finding the best stuff. Making life good instead of fucking suffering. Bad men, dumb men, stupid, objective stupid makes us hurt. Turning our fucking parents into fucking drug addicts and shit. And they were too weak. We're not weak anymore. We see all that stuff inside of us. And they're gonna crash and burn if they're like, am I autistic and God's telling me that I'm smarter than everybody? No. But it's a good questioning. You're being pretty selfish, pretty positive about yourself. You just gotta get in line so you stop warring with each other. Men, sorry, that's where we came from. We witnessed everything in history was men fighting, and they had to, so we can't fucking blame them. You came from nature, right? You didn't have all the answers, and you still don't have the answers, but now we have the answers. So whatever happened bad back then, we can do good now.
So nothing war has accomplished has been worth repeating.
Yeah, it's not worth repeating. But it had to happen.
So we know what to do.
So we know what to not do ever again. And we have the reason, and we go to love, and everybody's having sex, but with one person, and having life together, and experiencing things together. Who wants to fucking war then? You ain't bringing my children to war. I'll fucking kill anybody to prevent that. Yeah, okay, the blaze. I'll have to go down in a blaze of glory because that's where we fucking are right now. At any point, someone could fucking kill anybody because they want to and they have the power. That bring back fucking Lyndon B. Butthole Johnson, and he'll kill whoever he wants. But he's too stupid to know that we know something different that ain't killing. That's what I'm saying when I talk anything. Even like with Plato stuff, there's a truth that exists there. And there's a truth that exists in Aristotle, and there's a truth that exists in Socrates. Oh, I didn't mention that fucking oh no, Scotty Too Hottie. No, Spencer. He's gone.
Yeah.
I guess the boss fight got too hot.
Probably wouldn't have a lot to contribute to this conversation anyway.
Oh, how does he feel about stuff?
Not the same way as me and my friend Angelo do. I don't know how long this would go on, but if we go on past like 1 or so, we might be able to get Angelo involved in this.
Angelo. Who are the two
Angelo,
that
you probably find Angelo more base than me.
More base.
I don't
Your
know.
Your base belonged to
us. You just aged yourself a little bit. All your base are belong to us.
Yeah.
All your base are belong to everybody. All the baseness, all that has to be done, right, is just speak the same language. What we have to do is build the Tower of Babel that nobody wants to do because the Bible tells you that God didn't fucking like it. What a fucking spell. Abracadabra. Am I right? How do you feel about abracadabra?
What? Well, actually, what do you think about religion? Like, what do you think about Christianity generally?
Religion probably stemmed from something between power and the self-fearing and questioning. I think that people have feared death in a way that would drive us insane if we were just given right now. You know, people have always suffered death. People have always tried to numb themselves to death. They do sacrifices to fucking God so that you just see somebody die, and now your pain is, it's a slavery. So if you control someone's pain, you control them wholly. And that's the origins of religion. Everything else, is pretty specific if you want me to get into that.
But explainable. You can follow the tracks.
Yeah, you can follow those cookie crumbs all the way to now. In the context of pain and I guess you would have to see a whole bunch of things, but generally speaking, I mean, the stuff even exists right now. We still bury people. We want to preserve save the planet, but fill your fucking grandpa filled with formaldehyde and fucking bury him in latex or whatever. It's all so backwards, but people don't see it. Hate or a pain is blinders. That's what makes everybody stupid right now. I don't think so much that they can't learn because there's something in the water. I think they're so averse to pain that they've turned into a zombie. They just gotta wake up. They gotta take the wife pill.
Yeah.
Or the pilgrim pill.
The pilgrim pill.
The waffle pill. That sounds tastier.
But see, when it comes to,
But it's red.
because I'm not anti-religion necessarily, but I do think that there's lots of things about Christianity that sort of make people into slaves, like with this, and it also seems like Christians generally don't even know the history of their own religion very well.
Yeah. They're so stupid.
Like Christians don't, a lot of them can't even tell the difference between a Jew, a Hebrew, and a Canaanite. Like they or they don't understand a lot of stuff can, there can be based ways to interpret Christianity, but the way most Christians interpret it is not based. Like most people.
Yeah, just because they have memes of fucking Jesus looking fucking like Chad or whatever. Chatty fucking Dimbledorp.
But I mean, the way that Christians can get into this self-sacrificial mindset is very aggravating. Or the way they just want to give up and they want the world to end a lot of the time. Like that annoys the hell out of me. Like
the cult of death.
A lot of Christians actually put in the effort to make the world a better place. Instead, they just anytime anything bad happens, they're like, oh, this means the world's going to end and Jesus is going to come back just in time, just for me. Jesus is going to come back just in my time. Because I'm told that Jesus is going to come back now.
They're misrepresenting their selfishness. They don't understand that it's not your opinion or my opinion that selfish is a good thing. It's just what it is.
The way we are selfish inherently in our nature. There's no changing it. And every motivation that Christians have isn't selfishness. They just lie and pretend that they can be selfless, or that they have achieved selflessness in a way to be better than you, which comes back down to selfishness.
They let other people define it instead of understanding their wants and needs. But the church, all the religions, they hold their pain so they don't know what they want or what they need.
What you should decide is selfless gets taken up by what the church says it is.
Yeah. Because when you're selfish, you can decide what to be selfless about.
Yes.
That's your space to give up, not to be taken.
I remember, and please don't ever fucking tell anyone, when a couple of years ago, I think Obama was still the monkey in charge. He fucking had some program where you can take in a refugee. Do you remember that I cried that we couldn't do that? Because I just wanted, as a female, I learned now, I just wanted the hurt to stop for me. And I thought I could feel better by giving someone else me. However, I couldn't give me, I couldn't give you me, I couldn't give my brother me, the people around me. So I had to do something inside myself. If I'm going to be a person, I have to scrub that self to become the best selfish version possible. Turns out everybody can do that. It's an objective fucking exercise we can do mentally. It just, how do we communicate it and how do we make it something that's universal? Pfft, I don't know. We all have different experiences. Everybody has a different opinion. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, what were you going to say, husband?
It was too far ago.
Oh, sorry. The trains of thought are they interwoven too much. Speak long. Pilgrim, hi.
I mean, I know you are about it, even if it gets confusing.
Sorry, what'd you say?
It's like hanging on, man.
Like how
It's
passionate.
like hanging on a speed train. Like
That's what it feels like when I talk. Like I'm trying to hold on for dear life, but there's so many connections that need to be made because there's so much confusion that you have to reason away.
But like, something that like aggravates me about Christians lately is they've all like, I mean, they're like in the past there were like subgroups of Christianity that were like a lot more based, but like now like they've all basically just become like goys. They all want to they're all basically just Jewish slaves.
Sacrificing themselves to the Jews.
Yeah.
All you have to
And
be told is that don't give to yourself, give and don't give to your family, give to everyone else. And who controls everyone else? The Jews.
Yeah, just give to the Jews. But and even like it's insane because like they're like, oh, the Jews, they believe in the Old Testament, they're God's chosen people. It's like, well, the early Christians didn't believe the Jews were God's chosen people. They believed Christians were God's chosen people. It doesn't even make sense. Why would Christians think Jews are the chosen people? Wouldn't you just be Jewish? Why would, if the Jews are right, why wouldn't you just be a Jew? But
yeah, that's true. That confusion, they don't give a shit about.
And like, and it's insane because Christians will promote like this, like sort of like this view of empathy or forgiveness, or like you'd, and like they've even led to, like they've arguably led to things like the hippie movement and even like the woke movement, even arguably. But like, but it all, these groups are always hypocrites. Like, they don't want people, they don't want to limit the amount of death in the world. They don't care. Like when it comes to like Israel Palestine, like they don't give a
Yeah, they're
fuck
too stupid to understand.
And it's ironic because like how many Christians are being killed in Palestine. Like it's insane. Like you're going to support the killing of all these Christians in Palestine because the Jews are God's chosen people. It's
We don't know
insane.
shit about Palestine. You have to really dig deep to know Palestine. Who's to say that it's only Muslims that live there? That it's only this one terrorist fucking group because their government's called it.
Like it's insane. It's insane because they're gonna side with Jews to blow the shit out of Palestine, which has tons of Christians in it, and over like Hamas
and
shit.
To kill any baby.
Yeah, and it's
and to not like, turn the other cheek.
Yeah, and then if you have empathy, like like that's something that's I hate about the world now is it seems like all of a sudden empathy's become a bad thing for most people. Like if you have empathy for bad people or whatever, like if I have
selfish and selfishness has always been controlled. So people are just being drugged this way and that to these absolute by dipoles of hypocrisy.
So what is empathy?
How do you define empathy, Pilgrim? I know you don't like but it's a good thing to understand, and it's what's going to save the world. How do you define empathy?
I just mean, and I don't mean like, oh, you have to, you just have to love everybody or whatever. But I mean like empathy as in being able to understand, because a lot of people are like,
you can relate to someone else's hurt.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
sympathy and empathy are two different words, and people
Yeah.
use it interchangeably.
And I mean empathy, not sympathy.
You ever watch Star Trek: The Next Generation? The old
Yeah.
generation.
I'm not a
The
fan of Next Generation.
Betazoid bitch. You remember her, Diana?
I'm not exact. It's been a long time since I watched Next
Oh,
Generation.
well, she's a fucking alien. That her alien trait, which alien traits are the same as their culture. And that was a dangerous thing to fucking teach people, and that was fucking bad. So she's the only one that can understand. She's the only empath because it's in her fucking DNA. Oh, but she's only half. That's why she's so bad at it. Not once has she fucking understood a single fucking thing. You can document that shit. If we didn't have to fucking move and do all this shit, I would want to take every single clip where Diana Troy, the empath, didn't fucking understand anything. If you don't understand, you can't decide to be sympathetic to it or to give a shit. So you don't understand the contradictions that you make. Oh, sometimes I don't want babies to die, other times I do. Sometimes you have bodily autonomy, sometimes you don't. Everybody is on these stupid extremes, and the only way you can be extreme is if you're stupid. Extreme Doritos, they give you cancer. Extremes are bad. You have to have because you exist between two places. The best place to be is in the middle. That's the most stable. That's the path of least resistance. What's that? Not the path of least resistance. The other thing. The shelf stable.
The point of lowest energy.
Yeah, the resting place.
Yeah.
Is in the middle of these two things. But you always have two groups of people fighting, and then those two groups of people, sometimes you agree with them, sometimes you agree with the other person. So then you have two different opinions at any given moment. And it sucks. But we can do something about it. How do you feel about the Romans?
How do I feel about the Romans?
Yeah, speaking to Christianity and Judaism and religion, I guess, as a whole.
Well, I mean, like, there's things I like about like pre-Christianized Rome and post-Christian Rome or whatever, but like, I do there is like something about like the old like pagan lifestyles that people had that appeals to me kind of more, in that like people were more like family oriented and like focused on ancestry and things, and then after Christianity like was introduced, they kind of started destroying all of their own history, and which is kind of an unfortunate thing.
Had to make people less powerful, right? You can't know that you had a thing that you did before Jesus. He's like the... So it really hurts for anybody to make something that is powerful also the thing that defines the good. It was kind of like fucked from the start, but it was gonna happen, right?
Should you revere someone for their deeds?
What kind of deeds?
People got power. People got clapped. Oh, this is my ancestor. They were great at some battle. There's a. They must have done something great.
Oh, you know what it is? It's because it's where the family starts that's important instead of a bigger general thing that's controlled by someone else. They still did bad shit, you know?
Grandpa is great because he killed a lot of people.
Fucking the elders judge if we should go to war or not by sniffing berries. There's still a lot of, like, ignorance to all of it. So it had to evolve. I think I can't say that I like something better than the other. It has to be, I like this about it. This is what, I'll bring with it, the sacrifices and all that stuff. But then I gotta treat the next step the same way. Like the having the one God thing is probably better than having a whole bunch of other, because all it is demons in your head. God is schizophrenia. God is fucking imagination. God is all this stuff. And what God is just something about you that you don't understand. And that's all religion
Well,
has always been.
I personally think religion has religion can work a lot more in a metaphorical way, or like in a way that
Like the
the
morals.
people, yeah, but like, because like even if you look at the Old Testament, like Christians will say like, oh, the morals of the like the commandments or whatever, like the sins, like, oh yeah, these sins are like, if you actually look at what is a sin according to the Bible, like it's purely motivated by selfishness so clearly. Like, lust is bad because of what lust does to you, greed is bad because of what greed does to you. It's these things are bad because they have negative consequences to yourself, and then that should be,
But they were done because of God, right?
that's what I think the problem is like, because that's the way Christians are always trying to argue for everything. It's like, oh well, it's because God said it. And it's like, well, no, these things that the Bible says are good are not good because God said they were good. They're good because they have logical explanations for why they're fucking good.
They didn't go through the trouble that Plato did. I would say that Plato,
Well, like
instead
without
of
Plato, Christianity would be nothing.
without leading people astray, because Christianity, Bible leads people astray. Do this because God said so. Plato says do this because we're trying to find a reason to do it because we're selfish.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how Christianity, I mean, I know that he did use God a lot. I think Christianity wouldn't be anything without the Romans.
Well, no, like a lot of things in the New Testament are clearly inspired by Plato. Like the Bible even directly quotes Greek philosophers several times, and
Oh
then like takes
yeah? We're not up to
like,
that yet. Do you come in when we read the Bible and make fun of it?
I never have, but
Oh,
like, I don't hate the Bible either, but I think that there are like lessons in the Bible that I definitely don't agree with, especially in the New Testament.
hmm.
We're starting at page. We started at page
Yeah.
1, and we've gone every word forward.
I love the Old Testament though, because it's fucking crazy. There's all kinds of like sex and killing and like all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
I don't love it because of that.
I love I love it. I love just like how much of like freaking the Book of Job is amazing. I love reading Book of Job because it's just insane. Or
Do you
uh
see the insanity of that story, right?
The Job?
well, yeah, because I well, but I kind of understand the message that like,
Do you
because
see?
see God as a metaphor for just life in general. Like life does fuck you over for no reason.
Is it life fucking you over for no reason? I think those stories, if we don't see how bad they are, instead of loving them, I think we can't learn what we can from that shit to make things better, to know how stupid all that stuff is. I don't.
I don't think it's necessarily stupid. Like even the first story, like uh of the creation and Adam and Eve and all that. Like I think there are lots of truths in that story. Uh
Like, for example,
well, like we could even start with like Christians are like retarded and think evolution didn't happen and shit, but like I think that story clearly is promoting evolution. I think that like it's that Christians are just incapable of understanding their own religion, really.
is it
Um
promoting evolution, or are they just communicating what they understand based on the time that they live in?
well, yeah, I think it's based on what they understand on the time they live in, but I think they're on to something that would later we realize is evolution, like the snake losing its arms and shit, or the way the people when they eat the fruit go through this big change where they're suddenly they're separated from the animals because they're given this level, because I think it's literally just a story about humans gaining consciousness, and that separates us from the animals. And really, Gnosticism, right? You'd probably get into Gnosticism because that's really inspired by Plato. Like that's the Plato sort of take on Christianity is Gnosticism. You'd love that shit.
In Gnosticism, Jesus flew away. So I mean, I don't
Jesus,
really.
literally, Gnosticism, Jesus like went all over the earth and shit. Like, Jesus was everywhere.
Did they? I don't like when people. I wouldn't attribute trying to speak the same language like Plato did to people who are talking in their own language. Maybe they're talking about this, maybe they're talking about that, or maybe they're retarded, right? Because I think everybody, from what I've noticed about the world, everybody speaks a truth when they say words, whether they know it or not. So it's like, if you're not aware of it, we can't communicate together. So if some Gnostic guy is like saying stuff one, two, three, every
Mm.
aspect of the world I have seen follow this one, two, three thing in steps, in music, in fucking Evangelion, in
I mean, once you learn about
Take your
actually, once I
pick.
started getting into Gnosticism, I noticed literally everything. Like there's so much art that clearly is like has like a Gnostic message. Like, it's insane how like ingrained Jungian ideology and Gnosticism is in everything. Like all art, like especially in like anime and shit and
when
video
you
games.
say Jungian ideology, what you mean is the things, something that relates to what Jung said or what he communicated.
I just mean Jung's ideas. Like, I would definitely say Jung has an ideology. Like,
Jung's Jung
like Jung
influenced
sent
art that
everything
came
within
before him.
duality. No, I'm saying after, but
Oh, okay. Because we were talking about religion, so I saw in my head just like, a bunch of paintings in like the
I was just saying because
1500s.
Gnosticism is Jungian and gets like lumped in with Jung a lot because like the way I don't know. I think if you learned about
Well, it's another
Gnosticism,
ism, so you're gonna have to tell me what you say about it.
well, when it comes to um like Jung talks about like the present life being presented in like sort of a duality and shit because because Jung
Uh-huh.
himself takes a lot of inspiration from Gnosticism. Um, one second, and sorry, I have to think.
But that's
Don't
a good
ever
thing.
be sorry.
By the way, I've been done with the boss fight for a while. I've just been waiting for a good time to say I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
Also, I don't appreciate the comparison to Chris Chan.
You held on to that shit for fucking an hour.
Chris,
Glad you
fucking
appreciated it.
Chris Chan though. I plan on making a video someday about Chris Chan, just like as a joke video, like maybe an April 1st video where it's like Chris Chan's secret genius and like compare him to Carl Jung or some shit, and be like, oh yeah, the way he like yeah
Little
he's actually
deceptive
tapped into the
because
collective
it's
like
not just that he did tap into the collective, right? Because the collective tapped into him. Is that
I
what
just
you're?
well, I was just gonna make a video. It's like, oh yeah, Chris Chan's actually tapped into the collective consciousness, and he's actually a Jungian genius or some shit, and be like,
And that's where he goes in his with his My Little Pony and Sonichu dimension in his
yeah,
head. It,
yeah, because
it
it's
do
all
you
connected to the
why
collective
not do
consciousness.
that seriously? The
Hmm.
relationship between Chris Chan going into his head and Young going into his head. I got Carl
I mean, there
Young. If you
definitely is
want to
actually
read that
there
shit,
are actually parallels between Chris Chan and Carl Jung. It's actually funny.
we're all doing the same thing. There's a relationship to what you do in your brain and Chris Chan and Carl Jung. What I do, what everybody does, what the autists do, what the fucking, how they're treating their heads by the isms that they give themselves on the outside. You can read what people are doing in their head, and that's why we can see the difference between, or the similarities between Chris Chan and fucking Carl Jung. Pretty crazy.
Mhm.
It's the way that they communicate it is the only difference.
And then I could also talk about Christian having sex with his mom and be like, oh yeah, this is actually like another side of his Freudian genius here.
It is, because Freud was, from what I understand, abused as a child. Carl Jung was. His mother was fucking had split personality disorder.
Mom had multiple voices, so I have to have multiple
And guess
voices.
what happened during his time? World War One. The chaos was everywhere. You can fucking relate Carl Jung to fucking everything during that time, because everybody was scared, everything was corrupted. It's like this time, but we haven't gotten to 0 hour yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Well,
Most
I
people
always
aren't
think
shelled.
it's I always think it's funny when people say about like, oh yeah, if I was like, people talk about like, oh yeah, if I was there I'd be a better person, like in Germany during World War II or whatever. Like if I was there I'd been a good guy, I'd have been like a
What a
one
bunch
of
of
the good
idiots.
sane people. Yeah, like no, you would have been like one of the crazy fucking collectivist like retards that's like
You
all
can
for like,
only measure what a person is versus the time that they live in, and
yeah.
understand what you're not, what you can't bring back in time with you. And what does that mean when you try to do that? That you're going to play superhero because you get something everybody else doesn't? Guess what, retard? Then you don't understand history.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the biases are. That's what every single college professor does. That's what every single black person is doing. Not every single. I saw that one guy. And now I know that there's not all black people are trying to kill me now. Because who knows? Everybody is so dumb. I can't measure all the fucking dumb at once.
Mm-hmm.
But Alyssa, there's a couple people having a conversation right now. Well, the world burns around us. What do we do?
This is fine.
Yeah, no, this is definitely fine. Sorry, you wanted to say something before you squeezed my hand? Oh, for the water. You want your sippy cup? So what don't we agree on? I guess is the question.
We were gonna try to fix all the things, and we just kind of moved on from
Oh yeah, we gotta do the Trevor Moore stuff. We gotta want the hurt to stop.
solutions. We notice lots of patterns of bad things. How do we stop the bad things?
How did you come to understand things? Was it a hurt that you followed?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I guess I went through like my own like journey my whole life into like getting into different shit, but stuff, I'm sure stuff did appeal to me because of experiences during my childhood and things or something, but like I can like trace down like my interests during childhood and how they led to like my ideology currently and shit, but
Do
I
you
mean, I guess it
wanna?
does.
You remember a lot of your child self?
Uh, actually, yeah, like I do remember like a lot of
What was
like
your earliest oh shit memory? That
What's an oh shit memory?
something like that gives you a very major
Awareness.
change
Oh
of
yeah.
perspective.
Because
Like
when we're young, like we're kind of just blah, 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 and then something happens. You're like, holy shit, I exist. Can you relate to that?
Santa Claus is fake.
I mean,
Our
like
religion is
I've had
fake.
like a lot of moments where like my ideology, like the way I thought about the world, like greatly changed. But it was mostly like, I mean, it's gonna make me sound like a fucking like nerdy loser or something, because it usually comes from like whatever movies or books or fucking shit I get into, because that's most of what I know other than like experiences. And then, but it still comes from experiences. I just, when I watch art, when I see art reflect myself, things become a lot more clear to me.
Do you also
Um,
measure when that art is telling you something just for art's sake? Like, do you have those moments where you're like, okay, people don't interact like that? Because I know I did the same thing when I started smoking weed in my earlier days. I used to have those oh yeah, this makes sense, that makes sense. Lots of counter things, a lot of different opinions, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, sure. Like I even like I guess I did start having like a lot of those like moments of realization after I started smoking pot, but
Mm.
because it was like watching fucking like it's gonna sound cringe, but like shit, like fucking reading Ayn Rand or watching Fight Club and shit like opened my eyes to like a bunch of shit that like I was sort of like
It
blinding myself to. Even
awakens an
fucking watching
opinion in you, right?
had like weird interest. I've even had like weird introspective moments watching Sopranos and shit. I don't know.
Did you ever watch The Leftovers?
Uh, I don't think so.
If you could do me a favor and do yourself a favor, if this is how you have learned things and you are who you are right now, can you try to get The Leftovers? I can send you links to things if, you don't have access to The Leftovers or don't know how to.
I mean, I guess I don't know what it even is. I don't know what leftovers is.
It's a show.
I don't know if I should ruin anything for you. Just go in with the highest, I want to learn something like I learned something from Fight Club attitude.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
tell me what
It's
you
on
think.
a lot of different things, Corbin.
It was
Do you
originally on
have
HBO.
Max, Hulu, or Prime?
Yeah, I have Prime.
There you go. It's there.
Cool. But fucking like even like I don't know, like I can go into like the history of how like I've mentally developed, I guess, because it actually like
Something you
uh
want to talk about.
like I mean a lot of stuff does come from like I guess like traumatic like there are like traumatic experiences during my childhood that I guess shape the way I think about the world a lot. But I can't really go into a lot of that stuff, so I'll just go into like the stuff I was attracted to, probably due to that trauma. I was naturally attracted to certain forms of entertainment and shit.
Would you say that those traumatic moments were kind of those like I am here right now, I understand my like I some sort of self-awareness that you had then that you didn't have at other times? Or a different, I guess maybe a different perspective? Is there something like significant that you remember the trauma making you feel that made you feel like that every single time? Even up to just watching movies?
um, I just think like I mean overall like early on it mostly just gave me like a lot of insecurities and like I was like really attention seeking when I was a
Uh,
kid and everything.
Pretty self-aware then?
I've always been really self-aware, I guess. I've always like sort of like been always thinking about what like as a kid I always thought about what other people thought of me, which is really funny because now I like don't give a shit at all what other people think of me. It's really funny how much I changed, but
You knew that a lot of things hurt.
like I don't know, like I mean like even like on some level I'm sure it's like impacted my paranoia and shit. But
The
uh
attention seeking and stuff came because there was something that hurt you that you wanted to feel better about,
You
yeah?
weren't getting what you wanted.
yeah,
The attention.
yeah,
You're
I
like,
would
hey,
say
this
like
sucks. This sucks.
But
yeah, and then like I
that
guess
could
I was
also be
trying to
lashing
like
out.
somehow like reflect my pain to other people and shit. I don't want to get super into that shit because it gets like because I've already thought about it all and already introspected on it all and I've moved on from it, so it's better for me to move on from it.
Okay.
Uh
In
but
the present now, you don't give a fuck what other people think because
oh well just because I've already spent too much time thinking about it, I guess, and then at some point I just realized nobody's fucking thinking about you anyway. And most of the time I see the way other people like fall into those like collective ways of thinking where people like get obsessed with other people's perceptions and try to like meet other people's standards and eventually I'm like no, Generally people are fucking stupid. Why do I want to meet their perceptions and
Mhm.
standards? Why do I want to be socially acceptable in the eyes of like retards?
Here's an
So
extreme circumstance. You don't give a fuck what people think. However, if you were put in a situation where giving a fuck was almost pushed upon you, do you think there would be a limit? Like, either I'm thinking getting on stage and feeling a little nervous, or having to defend yourself against someone who straps you in a chair and criticizes everything that you think very loudly.
well, I wouldn't give a shit if somebody was like criticizing everything I think or whatever, but like getting on, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be really the kind of person that would get on a stage or something. That I would be nervous in that scenario.
Okay.
Um, but like, I like around crowds, I get nervous. I don't like being around a lot of people because people are unpredictable, I
Yeah,
guess, and
who
also,
knows what the fuck is gonna happen. Okay, I understand you now a little more. Uh, but still, you were talking about your progression to, or
mm,
from the child who was attracted to things based on circumstances, and between then and now.
hmm. Well, I like as a kid after like because of like I think because of traumas, I was like I I was attracted a lot more to like horror movies and shit, and I just like consumed a bunch of like gory, like disturbing films all the time when I was a kid, and they like kind of like fucked with my head a bit. And like I said before, like at a very young age, I kind of lost my sense of innocence to a point where like I sort of was like really emotionally detached from most other uh not necessarily emotionally detached from like other people. Like I was still able to feel empathy. Like I feel a lot of empathy for other people, but emotionally detached from my self. Maybe I've never. It's been hard for me to enjoy things like my entire life. It's been hard for me to uh, feel as happy about things or as sad about things as other people do.
If they're
Uh,
stupid, would, if they were as self-aware as you, would they feel as happy as, is that kind of happiness attainable if you're not stupid?
uh, I don't know.
I just
Mm,
had
Um,
kind of a gross thought.
what?
Uh, I was thinking that I don't like. There was a path of. I was traumatized by a dog situation.
You were?
Yeah, I watched my brother get mauled by.
It was that bad?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah. His groin is like messed up.
He got eaten.
Yeah,
Holy shit. Okay.
tall one. Um.
Oh, I know.
Uh. So I had a great dislike of dogs, and now where I am in life, I very much love dogs. I cried when I got this three-legged retard that lives in our living room.
Well,
Well, I have an affection for it that I wasn't aware of that I had previously. I watched a change in perspective.
mhm.
So like when I see shit like on 4chan of animals going through bad things, uh, that hurts. I don't want that for my dog. I don't want that for any dog.
And
And
that was a dog that was either neglected or abused.
I was thinking that trauma made me think about I that shit. But I can't say I felt the same way about my brother. My brother was mauled by that dog. I was thinking I did not ever try to imagine his perspective.
Oh, why he turned into how he turned into, or
Well, no,
just that?
he was traumatized by a dog. A dog ripped the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah. How long was it till your mom decided to traumatize your brother with a dog?
The dog came from across the street.
No, how? Because she had dogs. How
Oh,
long did she?
well, we owned a dog at the time, uh,
Oh shit.
but
Well, that's
oh,
maybe that's good, so that
but
he knows that there's
uh,
a difference between good dog and bad
yeah, there
dog.
was but man, yeah, he was scared. I used to walk with him a lot to my grandparents' house, and there was a nasty dog that we walked along the way.
Imagine fucking Palestinian kids too. I mean, just to put it into perspective, it's children having to watch their back when they walk down the street. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Did that toughen him up or did it damage him?
I feel like I've cared more for the well being of my dog than I've cared for the well being of my brother sometimes.
Oh shit.
That kind of sucks. I don't like that feeling.
It sucks that I mean, your fucking mom was a bitch and she was weak and she was crooked. And you did do the best you can. That separation got too far where he needed mother, he got mother because he was the baby that got bit, and you're the rebel. And it's separate. That's the same shit happened with me and my brother because I didn't like my mother and I understood why she was so fucking stupid, and he raised her on a pedestal. And given I didn't give her enough credit at the time because I was dealing with this and that, and now I understand a little bit more, but the damage has been done. How do you go back and fix all of the things that had happened before you learned from it? All you could do is go forward and do better. Try not to repeat history. Try to fix history when you can. I mean, if there's a roof leak, you can't. Well, time to fucking just do something else. Sometimes you gotta go back in time and fix the goddamn leak, but. Measurements, human science. This is human science we're talking about. This is. So, what are the confusing things that. I guess since we agree with so much, what was confusing about our initial relationship? I'm kind of curious.
Um. Well, I mean, like even like when I was confused, I was still like able to pick up on base shit you said, but then it got mixed in with like a bunch of tangents and things I couldn't really,
Oh,
because like you go on, you say something like I agree with, and then it kind of goes on to it moves on because you're trying to, I like you've explained before that you're trying to pick things together, and like you notice something and you want to say that thing you noticed at that moment.
yeah,
So
stream of
I understand.
consciousness, quote unquote.
It feels like you're going fast, doesn't it? Like mentally, like you stuck your head out the window and you feel that.
That's the effect that I have.
Yeah, keeping up with you, wife. It's like this. It's like sticking your head out the window.
Do you feel like it's sticking your head out the window when you talk to me? Oh,
I don't know what that that means. Like, I don't get confused when I stick my head out the window, but
like
uh,
there's a strong wind. I
There's
guess
lots
is.
to take in.
Oh yeah, like there's.
yeah,
I'm trying to make you swallow a lot of shit
like
at
yeah,
the same
but
time.
like when you stick your head out the window, like what happens? Like you can feel the outline of your eyes because all that
Yeah,
gets dry. So like you are aware of the shape of your eyes at that moment. So
yeah.
I talk to you. You know, what
The
about this? I didn't think
coldness
about
and
this. Like, oh fuck, I can feel my eyes now. Like, you know,
yeah.
it's like sticking your head out a window.
Well, and also when we started this, I didn't know what I was planning on doing. I was just going out there and saying, "Hey, there's got to be something that somebody's got to talk about all this stuff. We've got to think. If Google can have a think tank to fucking stalk an old lady, then we can fucking have a think tank to outthink those think tanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've basically just been talking to each other. we've been confronted with like a lot of like maybe fake things or like just advertisement thing. Oh, hey, I'm talking to you because I'm a person that wants to listen to what you have to say, but really I'm here to just advertise my fucking
Artwork
artwork, yeah.
or sell us
Bullshit.
bots.
Yeah. So fucking hard to tell.
That sounds familiar.
Is that happened to you?
It just kind of sounds like hard luck to me.
Captain Hardluck.
Who's that?
Oh, Captain Hardluck is a fucking annoying fucking like Captain Hardluck is just somebody that we have like that me and my friends have had like internet beef with.
Oh. Can I join that
he
beef?
called me a lazy dad.
I want to join that beef. I want to climb the beef ladder of YouTube so I can tell everybody why they're so stupid.
Oh, it mostly just came down to like he was like he's just like an egotistical kind of annoying person.
Oh, yeah. I want to try to reason with him, and I want a bunch of beefy men by me to fucking attack him because I don't like attacking people. I just want to try to talk to people. That's why I talk the way I do. And with the sense versus the
sentiment versus
the sentiment
semantics.
versus the semantics. I try to do semantics because all boys are like, yeah, I know fucking reason and what I'm talking about. Okay, let's get to the root of why you're stupid. And a lot of the times, maybe people aren't. I haven't met anybody that isn't stupid except until now. Thank you for finally fucking breaking the algorithm. I want to try to break those people out of their stupid or just get them so mad that they, but not fucking, fight them in like a bad way. That, oh, we're gonna call the cops so you get swatted and they shoot your fucking dog, or just straight fucking, these are contradictions that you're saying. These are the things that make you stupid. These are the reasons why you're stupid, but you don't have to be stupid. I want to start like a YouTube gang, maybe, of telling people why they so stupid, why they waste internet.
Hey, would you? I don't know how long your stream is gonna go on for, but would you care if how long do your streams usually go on for?
For as long as we feel like it.
Yeah, that's basically what we've been doing.
Because I'd really like to continue this at some point when my friend's done at work, which would be like at 1. I don't know. Well, you probably live in a different time zone than me, so I don't know what.
It'd probably be 2 hours from now.
For me, it's 11:18 right now.
2 hours from now, yeah, we'll be here. Will you be up at that point as well? Because I
will be. Yeah,
okay.
I definitely will be up at that point. I just want to take a break for a minute and think and come back to my friend, and maybe we'll have a more interesting conversation when he shows up.
I also will have to leave, and I won't be back though because I will not be up at 11.
Well, yeah, you weren't going to say anything. You weren't going to be a part of the conversation, really. Anyway, I don't think you have anything to really say about what we're talking about.
Oh, well,
what's that supposed to mean?
Well, you were going to leave,
really
so I guess, unless you guys are on a date or something, or you wear a hijab and you got to leave because the man's leaving. I don't know. I don't know.
I actually gotta go because I got things I gotta do tomorrow.
Okay, you'll be back someday though, right? And we can talk.
Sure.
Think about things.
I'm down for that.
I mean, I'll definitely be back another day and all that shit. But I'm gonna be back today. I'm gonna be back if you're still streaming by the time in 2 hours or so.
Maybe we should take a break and just pick it back up. Because how long have we been at this? I don't know how long I speak until I fall asleep after I did it.
It's a surprise. Dude, a little more than 3 hours.
That would be like 7 hours. Maybe we should stop for a little bit, and then maybe you message us when you're ready and we'll pick it back up.
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Talk to you then.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have a good one, friends.
You
Yeah,
too.
you too,
Thanks
Spencer.
for
It's good meeting
stopping
you.
by. Well, it seems I don't know if anybody ever listens to us at all. You know, besides now Pilgrim. Hopefully Spencer now. I ain't calling nobody fans though, you know? We are people who fucking communicate, and anybody that listens to us, which there's nobody listening to us now. But I think everybody should. How do you do advertisement and stuff? Like, hey, you retards ever hear a civil conversation, and then we'll just have the parts that aren't civil? The beginning parts where we kept cutting out, or I got a pee-pee too, and I'm thirsty, and I think I want to eat, and maybe, oh, that'll be a good reason to use the other thumbnail.
Yeah. All right.
Should we like play with for nobody? Oh, I forgot to tell him that we started like not talking to anybody. That was what I was trying to get at. Usually people couldn't understand us because we're just talking in the wind, you know?
Yeah.
Talking how we talk to each other, because I don't know how to talk to anybody else. They didn't come in and introduce themselves. Anything else would just be a product. Most people, I don't know, because there's a lot of people who subscribe to him, but maybe it's his old high school friends. I don't got that many friends. And his other friend had 1,000 or something. I mean, that's a significant amount of people compared to none. So I wonder who he was, if we were talking to him or not. And the person who was, or the man, the dude, who was on the phone but not in the conversation. I don't know. We gotta fix it or something. We gotta figure something out. Help these people how to learn how to do internet. I
Be easier if I guess I was trying to direct things more.
Oh yeah, hey, we're people talk to us now. Let's get technical. We gotta have a theme song now. That's what he wanted. I don't understand you. You don't make no sense.
Super wife extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Wife is oid. Wife is oid. She sits around in her underwear.
Oh fuck
Wife
yeah, I
do.
Holy underwear. Just like the holy underwear. Damn, maybe we should talk strategy. When, I don't know if at some point when Rabbit is here, what if we could talk fucking like business strategy? Okay, so you don't think that I could change the world to be fucking absolutely better. Both need money. We can there's so many people around who are just getting money to like, oh, my 15-year-old cat's sick. Oh, I need leukemia treatment. Oh, pay for my child's fucking casket. All these bad opinions. There's these people who have the worst fucking takes known to history because they have the opportunity to have the best take right now. Now there's two proof. I mean, I understand. There's still some convincing to do about communication, but I also have to learn what's best in that. Because am I just gonna tell a fucking 21-year-old how to talk to people? It's gotta be he has to see what works for him first, because he's the one implementing it, right? So whatever works for him, finding what doesn't work and trying to strategize how to, like, giving this is the specific tool you need. This is the Thor's hammer. This is the like.
That's
hey,
the Toad's wet sprocket.
yeah, you want to make a career out of this? Do you want to fucking make everybody's an enemy, and now you potentially, as long as you follow these rules about me, that I am an individual who has blah 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 whatever, but we are both individuals, and we promise to work things out just like you and me, that we can manipulate everyone's stupidity, somehow create something that other people want, and that will convince them they need. Motherfuckers be putting tears in jars and telling you that if you put it under your pillow that you'll go to heaven. And this has worked for people. Motherfuckers in Africa get kids or to eat grass because Jesus is turning them into a cow. It's all a fucking magic trick. We gotta do the magic trick that tricks everybody into waking the fuck up. Turning that stupid into fucking doing the opposite. Yeah, intelligence something in the Old Testament. That shit is speaking to the stupidity of the person in the time that they existed. So, if we can understand that, we can understand fucking everybody right now. God is just a big, mean, fucking bad person. It's the original abuser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think God created anything. I think that God story, he said, representation of evolution. And whether the Bible knows it or not, it is a representation of evolution. It wasn't that it was secret in there, is that evolution is real, and these motherfuckers, no matter how hard they try to hide it, can't.
Yeah, you can't tell the story of a progression without this pattern showing up.
Yeah, but instead they interject God did this, and it was good. Oh, so you're also saying that God didn't define good, right? He didn't say he created fucking something very specific.
He didn't create good. Good was there outside of God.
Good was there outside of God. Because he never defines good. His actions do the opposite of good. Why are you going to put people in a place and tell them they can't have something, and then you control everything, but you put something there that fucking easily said, hey, why not? Why not fucking eat the apple? So she did. She's like, oh yeah, good, intelligence, bada bing, bada boom. So get kicked out of this paradise. You know what paradise is? The unawareness that nature was not fucking paradise. It wasn't paradise not being aware of shit. Because eventually people, even if they got the most comfortable, they would step on each other's toes. People want things. That want for the apple awareness of things. That, hey, this is something that I didn't have before. But what were people gonna do in nature? You're gonna fucking evolve. God is not punishing. And he said something about that life is suffering. And that life is gets in the way or something like that. There are two different enemies here. there's, well, I guess God, if you three, God, man, and nature. God spoke or represents the man's understanding of the learning process, the evolution process. That things have gotta be bad. You gotta become self-aware. Self-aware means that you're gonna be confused about shit, and then you feel like there's something terrible out there. God is this terrible fucking thing.
Your self awareness is shame. They felt their shame. Like that was the first thing that, right?
Yeah. Shame may not be the first thing. It may just be part of the story, but it is one of those things that make you self-aware. Shame is selfish hurt. So you have something to feel bad about. You need someone to exert that power on you, and your brain creates it. God. Oh. Ooh.
I think that's a plateau to stop. A bombshell.
You think so?
Bombshell. But
Okay.
that's just me.
Cool.
You look exhausted.
Yeah. Holding on to things and wants, man. Husband, man.
Good wife. I love you. Shutting her down.
Love you, miss you, one piece. See you in